which I gotta fix still. I gotta find time to fix it. I'm fixing this tonight,
Hey
tomorrow.
guys, we have the worst intros. Hit it, Jatobi.
And I'm following you right away because this was so much fun. You guys are awesome.
And begin.
All right. See, back again.
Back again. How are you?
Pretty good, and yourself?
I'm good. I just shared this to my LinkedIn thing. I just shared it to LinkedIn on my profile.
The
The live stream.
Oh, nice. Okay. So we're live on Kara's World. I like it.
We're live
Yep.
in different places. Where's our Mark Lee?
He said he was going to be here. He's he actually, well, I thought that was him, but no, that was somebody else. There's a photo that looks like him. I got a buddy, really nice guy, but his photo looks very similar to Mark's.
What?
So it throws me off.
Mark has a doppelganger?
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, he said he was going to be here tonight. That's one of the reasons why we shifted it to tonight, is because he said he was tied up yesterday, and I knew I was tied up a little bit yesterday as well. So we kind of shifted it to today. So crazy things in the world.
It's fine.
Since you're into the coaching thing, I don't know if well, I guess one of the big stories that happened in the gaming world, well, there are two things, because I guess that we're going to touch in your arena. See, the arena.
Did I?
There was a new game that came out this week. Plague Tale Requiem is part 2 of Plague Tale, because there was Plague Tale Innocence. That's what I have up right here. It's a story of
Plague Tale, as in
yes,
the Black Plague.
It's set in that time, in the 14th century. And yes, there are rats that you have to avoid.
What?
Because they will, yes.
They will eat you.
They will. But remember, that's how the plague was pretty much spread.
Yeah.
But this is a story of this sister and her younger brother. In Plague Tale Innocence, I didn't actually play Plague Tale. I wanted to play Plague Tale, but I'm not made of money. I'm kind of broke, so people can donate and help out to play these games.
Hey, what's your Cash App? Seriously, Cash App, Venmo. Put it in the comments.
Do is go to the Bull City GG on Twitch and hit the donate button. It's all right there. See. Matter of fact, that's actually in the comments. Look at there. Well, that's the sound alerts and then the podcast stuff. But yeah, Bull City on GG on Twitch, and you can actually donate to help us have more fun.
AKA make a living.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway, so Plague Tale Innocence was the beginning of their story, and it and again, I didn't play Plague Tale. Heard so many great things about it. Wanted to play it. Matter of fact, this is the trailer for Plague Tale.
I promise you, tonight we shall dine like kings.
But the feast isn't on your plate quite yet.
No,
house.
You want to stay here with your brother?
Move! Come on! I won't ask again. Where is your son?
Amicia!
You have no idea. Leave while you still can. Kill my sister! Take that boy alive! Must protect him.
You stupid one. I'm not stupid.
Oh.
I know you, Amicia.
Amicia. You killed him. You want to. There's something in the house, Amicia. I'm sorry. I'm sick. No.
So
So
again,
how does this fit into my world? Like past lives, generational trauma, like
exactly
oh,
what you
okay.
said at the end. You've got a sister trying to take care of her brother because of the
Mhm.
situation that he's in. And she's trying to protect him. So you have to adventure through and you're sneaking around. It's not an outright, hey, we're going to go and hack and slash these people. The whole goal is you're trying to avoid and save your brother before they catch him and kill you.
Mhm.
And a Plague Tale Innocence was supposedly dark. Plague Tale Requiem is supposed to be darker. So if everything in Plague Tale was death, everything in Plague Tale Requiem is death even more.
Double death. Ooh.
Yep. And so it deals with it's all about trauma. And then even when you're playing a game, how the game affects you is like a movie in a sense. You're within that character, you're in that life, and so some of the things that you see and some of the things that you feel are there. Matter of fact, there's actually another game that we're going to have to play one of these days because I got to show you. Beautiful game. It's backwards on the screen. No, The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh.
Oh, you talk about a game you want to cry at. If you want to have a good cry, this is the game. This is the game. Because the story of, going on a tangent real quick, the story of The Last of Us is basically you and this child, this young girl, you're trying to keep her alive because it's basically there's this infection that's turning people into zombies, of course. I mean, the whole like Walking Dead instance. But the girl you're protecting, they find out her blood, she's immune to this virus. And the only way to create a serum or to create some type of I guess health to help out, or an experiment to help out so people may not be infected by this virus that's turning them into zombies, or just and I mean it's told really well, but the only way to do that is if they kill the girl that you've been traveling with for a long while. And so you in part 1 travel with this girl for a while, trying to stay alive and get to this one hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And you get there and they tell you this. So you've already spent hours in your mind with this child. And then they tell you, okay, well, she has to die. So now you protect her from the people trying to kill her, as well as the other zombies trying to infect you and her. So you get away, of course, because then it goes into part 2, and it's as the years have progressed. And in the beginning of part 2, which I really haven't taken time to really fully play it. I've only started it, and you can tell it's already extremely emotional. At the beginning of part 2, your character, or the first part of your character, you're sitting in this one kind of safe location that you guys have just found. You and this other guy from this reservation that you are coming off of to, you guys are out hunting for supplies because the infected may come and get you. So you need to get these supplies, but you guys are camped out in this area, in this one house. And you think he's someone that you can trust. And so because you think it's someone that you can trust, you tell him that the whole story of part 1, telling him that, yes, this girl that's now on the reservation is immune to this virus that you guys are trying to avoid. And they said that they could create a serum potentially to save lives, potentially, but she would have to die. That's the only way they could do it. So you fought out of there. So you've told this confidant that away from everybody. And now you go back to the reservation. And it's, I think, a few years later after you've told that individual that. And that's where the story kicks off.
Rule number 1, don't do that. Don't do that.
But yeah, that's The Last of Us Part 2. We've got to play that because I think that's a game that you would enjoy because it is truthful. And this is why HBO is actually making a series called The Last of Us based off of the game, because it was so well written. The story was told so beautifully. And there's actually I'm big on acoustic guitars. I love the acoustic sound, something about it. They did a rendition of Take On Me just with an acoustic guitar and a young lady singing the song. Beautiful rendition.
How do they do that? Boop 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 boop.
So they don't do that part. Really?
Suddenly I just started imagining kazoos.
This is just a little bit of it before I get dinged, or before we get dinged.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the sound.
Oh, I can't hear it well anyway, so
Yeah, I'll turn it up.
safe with me.
I'll turn it up a little bit. See, I'll skip ahead so they won't get mad at us.
Oh, that's cool.
And then here goes it just sounds so beautiful. Here's Take On Me. And it's so beautiful.
Oh.
Yep. So that's what they do.
No. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't automatically start sounding like a dog wailing, like woo.
Oh yeah.
Because that's the fun part of the song.
But the way they play that is that is the tone of the game.
Oh yeah, totally get
so
it.
You see the song is very emotional.
Yeah.
And you feel the emotion in the song, and that's the tone of the whole song, and it is phenomenal. Like there was another song they did. I'll find it later. But yeah, beautiful song, and the beautiful rendition. But that's the last one. We got to play that one. I think like I said, I think you'd enjoy it.
I mean, you and I have talked about, and with other people on the show, we've talked about before how when you're going through stuff, sometimes it does help to kind of go through something dark and twisty, and then other times it's important to know when it's not good. And so sometimes it can be more damaging to play games like these. And also at the same time, I feel like gaming companies, are very highly aware of this now. And so they have psychologists galore helping them craft a game that doesn't take people off the edge too much. So it's like, on one hand, part of me is like, you don't know if I'm going to like it. But on the other, like some of the things that you showed me that I'm like, oh my gosh, no. I'm like, okay, they tiptoe it enough where it's okay. Like it's nice and safe. But I don't know, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It seems very interesting.
Like I said, it's a great, great tale. I mean, it's so well written. And that brings me back to going back to, like I said, A Plague Tale. Evidently, this is written really well as well, or really well also. That's kind of redundant, but yes, it's written really well.
Yeah.
So it falls in that, again, that arena. And then I guess before we get to A Plague Tale, this was the other thing that falls right in your wheelhouse, because this is one of this young lady here is one of the biggest streamers out there. And she honestly, she's a very savvy businesswoman. She doesn't. I mean, I don't watch her stream because I hardly watch too many. Well, no, I watch some on occasion, but she has one of the biggest followings. She also has put together a few different businesses here and there. She's just very smart, savvy woman, put together really well mentally. But of course, part of her business plan or business model, evidently, between her and her husband is that her husband didn't want to say that she was married, because my guess is that then she could get extra followers based on her looks, because those followers would want to, or had the belief that she's single and they could be with her. That's my guess, is what he was going for. I don't know, because I don't know these people, but that would be my guess as to what he was trying to say. Part of their business model is they're going to basically do the whole sex sell, or that he was going to push the whole sex sells, because, I mean, yes, she's a very attractive woman, but I think that's what he was trying to rely on, rather than, okay, it doesn't matter if she's married or not. I hate to say it, but guys are still going to look at her regardless. That being part of the business model. So I think that's what I think his mindset is very shallow. But either way, yes.
It sounds like he was trying to do that model for his benefit, so that he could be like, we're not married, and then get some action on the side. It sounds like more like that than anything, especially when they're like, controls finances, verbally abuses her. Like, really, first of all, that's horrible that people are posting her life like that, because if it happened on a live stream, like,
it did.
That's horrible. But like, at the same time, protect the woman. Obviously, Annie loving husband, regardless of what kind of day you're having, a good partner is going to not do that, like berate her on a stream or anything, like, or berate her anywhere. Like, that's just crazy. And like, I feel for, hey, Mark Lee.
Hey, they're going to change my camera so y'all can see me and all of that. But how are you doing?
Oh. But yeah, I mean, that's horrible. And you're right. It doesn't matter if she's married or not. When I used to work at Lowe's in college, I wore a ring on my right hand, and oftentimes I would put it on my left thinking it would help. No, guys were like, when's your husband coming home? You think he'll mind? Like, what? I just handed you your 2x4. Do you want me to smack you with it? You know, like, so that's horrible. And I feel like we're in 2022 and we're still not protecting women and situations like these.
So I don't know if you
Infuriating.
wanted to hear what happened to her on the live stream or not.
And that's
I mean,
definitely a sensitive topic. Like, that's pretty much witnessing domestic abuse online. And so I feel like that would warrant a trigger warning. If you wanted to go there, then it would be very important for you to put on your posts that you're using to market, trigger warning, domestic abuse.
So, I mean, I was asking you personally. I didn't know if you wanted to or not, because honestly, you had actually touched on what I was going to, or where I was going to go with this, because there are different like social media outlets that picked up, or different companies that picked up what happened to her on live stream, because because she's such a big influencer online. She's huge. I mean, has a huge following. Matter of fact, just before this happened, her OnlyFans account got hacked. Yep. So, but yes, how you were saying that, it's pretty much akin to witnessing domestic abuse and so on and so forth. And as this magazine or distribution network rightfully did, once they posted this up, they did put down here, if you're suffering from domestic abuse, contact information, help is below. And so they put up the numbers, which I applaud them for doing that, because yes, this is a news story and putting that information up is necessary. But then when you go down to, all the other people responding to this, yeah, it's ridiculous. And it's mostly guys, which is horrible. There's actually even one down here. I was reading through them at one point and was talking about, well, there was one guy, he said, well, it's not like it's domestic abuse because it was over the phone. I'm like, seriously, that's your viewpoint? He can verbally abuse her on the phone and you don't consider that domestic abuse? So it's just the blind mentality, and it's crazy. However, this was what happened next, which I'm hoping keeps going for her. As she, saying now she's free, she's seeking legal counsel versus her husband. So I'm hoping that actually comes to fruition and they do part ways, and she isn't gouged by her husband for palimony and all this other craziness, which he shouldn't. I mean, he's just the guy in the background.
I feel like she has enough connections in the gaming world where she will have literal like bodyguards there. Like, try to mess with my person, right? Try to mess with this person that I know. I'm gonna get you.
Yes and no. Remember, that goes back to this with all the people that are standing up for her husband now too.
True, but I'm sure there are some good people in her circle. Otherwise, she wouldn't have felt safe enough to say, I'm seeking legal action against my husband.
Oh yeah. And
I hope so, because like, that is super crazy. I like, it shouldn't surprise me, but every time it just does. Like I'm highly active on LinkedIn because one, best support system ever. Especially for the LGBTQIA plus community. And also, like, I get it's like, hey, who knows how to do this? Like, I'll barter with you. I'll throw in some energy healing stuff, juju for something. I love it. It's like, hey, hear ye, and which is super cool. And but I have several connections where I'm like, if you mess with them, I will get sassy and I might find out where you live and then give you the evil eye. Right? And then be sassy with my evil eyes.
You're tracking down people again?
You're just sad that I haven't tracked you down yet, Mark.
You're going to track me down next? Oh, no.
But there's one connection who put up a poll where she said, Black women only. I just want to know your input. She is a Black woman, right? And so then there were several men and of different races, and then a white woman voted, and she's like, y'all can't read and stop centering yourself. So then she did another post about that, like, hey, don't center. And like, that's an important message. Don't center. And this is why we need spaces and that are just for us. And there were people who were like, well, you just have a problem with men. Like, no, you have a problem with women setting boundaries, especially Black women. And how dare you? So then, of course, I kind of did this post that was it looked like a poem, but it just very discreetly just kind of highlighted the other post, not in my perspective at all. It was just like, the message. And then I had this, then not too long afterwards, this guy, like, on LinkedIn, they now have the laughing emoji. And this guy laughed at my post. I was like, what? Like, this is what we're doing? So I thought that I could just block him and then his reaction would be removed. Well, it wasn't removed, but I blocked him from being able to say anything. And the point of this whole story is that, like, when you have an issue with somebody, like, that's your issue. There are times where, like, if someone does something to you, great, you can have your feelings, whatever. But if they're living their lives, like, you have no room to have an issue with what's going on, And if someone is literally being berated, if a woman is being berated, and that is abuse, and she's still getting heckled and made up fun of, and that's not what it is, and gaslit in the year 2022, like, that is crazy. And yes, if you need help sorting your shit out and you're trying to get away from those toxic people in your life, come see me. If you're toxic and you're victim blaming, don't come see me, because I'll give you the evil eye.
She's got a mean evil eye.
Oh, but that's upsetting. It's like, women deserve spaces.
No, women definitely deserve spaces. One thing I was going to tell both of you is that, sometimes we do this show on Monday, mostly on Mondays, but the day schedules and everything, we decided to do it on Tuesdays, but Mondays is also the day of the car show. And actually the LGBTQI community came up in the car show because the primary host Anthony McClure brought on his mentor. His mentor is a young lady named Amber, and he did not even know. As a matter of fact, he said he was surprised that she brought it up. But apparently, part of what she does when she sells cars is that she is a part of the lesbian community, and she definitely even brings that up as part of her getting to know people in the sales process and everything. So she doesn't like hide who she is. She admits to being or talks about being a part of the lesbian community. She talks about having children. She talks about also being a member of the Hispanic community. And actually, as I was talking to Anthony afterwards, he was actually surprised that she brought it up, but she was very comfortable in her identity. And unfortunately, not everybody is comfortable in their identity. So I was really impressed with Miss Amber because she's over there in Valdosta, Georgia. She's apparently the head of their finance department in that particular car dealership. And she was a top salesperson in that area as well. That's actually how she moved up into corporate level. And even Anthony, who is now doing this show, said that is his mentor. And part of the reason that he likes her being a mentor is because she is very authentic. She's not trying to hide anything and all along those lines. So when I was sitting there seeing her express herself, I was thinking about other strong women that I knew that had similar kind of belief systems and all of that, such as yourself here, as well as
person.
Yeah, as well as Jatovi's sister and Jatovi's now.
Put my name up there so you guys remember. I know that I am a female, assigned female at birth, but let's do that for education purposes. Put my name up there.
His name can be up there, but yes, but I would just my own point of that was that because even afterwards he was talking afterwards and he was just impressed with the fact that because one of the things he told me was I didn't know she was going to bring it up because I thought we were going to be talking about the financial aspects of cars and some of the things you have to do in the sense of insurance and finance and all along those lines. And she was just very open and brought it up probably 10 or 15 minutes into the show. If that, it might even have been earlier and all along those lines. But it was really, just good seeing people that were comfortable in their own skin.
Yeah. Like, who loves cars too? Lesbians,
Yes, true.
LGBTQIA plus community, we love cars too.
Yeah.
I love that. Is she on LinkedIn?
I believe she is on LinkedIn. I have to try to find the full name, but it's Amber. I won't say it's a typical. Well, I won't say typical because that's stereotypical, but it is a common Latin name. I want to say like Hernandez, but I will find it and I will definitely connect the two of y'all because, like I said, y'all have some like-minded synergy. She's also very sassy and likes to cause trouble. That was one of the things we were joking about at the beginning of the show because Anthony is a troublemaker as well. And I was like, so I got two
as well, huh?
In a good way. I like good trouble, in the words of John Lewis.
Oh, no, I would love to be introduced to her. Yeah, that's awesome. It's like, no offense, because there are some good men out there, okay? You two are learning. You try. But
Mark is a good dude. Mark is a lovely man.
But patriarchy is a bitch. It really is, and it's like ingrained and but it's horrible. And it just brings out the worst in everyone and it makes people bad. And it makes the good people think that they're bad when they should just be more good. And that's so sad because then you get stupid ass comments like the ones that we were seeing, and the ones that I see all the time. Anytime a woman or even, anytime someone who it's just like having opinions, you're going to have some white man have issues with that. And it's like, God, you don't want to stereotype, but sometimes the shoe fits really well. And it is upsetting when it's like, do better.
But it's not just the West that has this issue because, there's been this whole conversation around Iranian women and all along those lines. And I was watching, and I didn't get the full story. Maybe Jatovi's got a better concept of it, but apparently there was a lady that was competing. I think she was competing in climbing and all along this line, and then her hijab fell off. And I mean, she's competing, so it's going to happen, and all in that space. And now folks are getting upset with her because they're thinking this was some form of protest. Where I'm thinking there's just you're climbing, you're sweating, you're competing. These things can happen. So I don't think that it was done intentionally or anything in that space, but I don't know whether that's the case or not. But what is your thoughts? And I see that Nicole has joined us again. Because I guess the link, she said she was going to join us, so I'm glad to see.
Oh, nice. Hi.
Hey.
How are
Hi,
you?
guys. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you again.
Hey,
Oh,
you too.
Yeah, I told Nicole that you had sent out an SOS to me to get to Nicole. I was like, he said that you must come back. You are so much good energy. We need you back, is what Jacoby said.
Yeah, I'm. Mondays is hard, but it's Tuesday, so yeah, I popped in just to say hey. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay, but what are you guys doing? What are you talking about?
Well, we started talking about A Plague Tale Requiem because that's what I was going to play tonight. Since that just came out, I don't know if you played it yet.
No, my game is so off right now because I'm just busy.
When you're making all that money and big time like you are, that's why we're trying to get like you. That's the goal. But that's where we started, was talking about A Plague Tale and what it's about and how it's how disturbing it may be. Then we started talking about The Last of Us Part 2, which I've got to show Kara at one point because that is such a phenomenal game.
He's like, it's right up your alley. It's traumatic. I'm like, oh, thank you.
If you want to cry, play that game. And then we got on talking about this. How he started, her husband jumped on her on live stream and basically verbally abused her on live stream. But now that that happened, I think it was a couple of days ago, and now she's going to be breaking up with him, it sounds like, which is good. And then we got to talking about how amazing Kara is at her job, so we had to show off her website.
Well, right on. What do you do? Are you a designer?
So I'm a life coach, and I also do energy healing as well. So I combine the two. And okay, Jatovi, scroll down, please. Da, da, da. Deepen the roots to your personal power. Bam. And scroll down a little bit more. Look at that. Isn't that pretty, y'all? Look.
See, big time.
I have energy healing sessions. I kind of am a brand designer. Like I built all of this. So I designed my website. And so if you go all the way back up, Jatovi, oh yeah, my podcast, y'all. If you go on up, and then go to work with me. Scroll down.
Book an appointment.
Yeah, like we have single sessions, a personal power starter kit, which is 3 energy healing sessions. And then if you get through that and you're like, well, damn, I want to make a habit of this. Then we have the one-on-one personal power mentorship, which is 12 weeks of energy healing plus life coaching combined. So it's more focused towards like a more focused goal versus like I'm just trying to knock shit loose and get some clarity. So it's more focused. So I made my website more coherent and like just makes sense. And I'm just excited. So thank you, Jatovi, for showing
a walk-in tour of what Kara is all about and all along those lines. Hey, Nicole, I was wondering if Kara might need to go into the metaverse because you are, after all, the metaverse goddess. At least that's what everybody keeps telling me, and all along those lines. So tell, maybe we need to have everybody go into the metaverse with you since you are, like I said, the metaverse goddess. So definitely, do we need to have Kara in the metaverse?
Yes. So that's actually a big business in the metaverse is spaces that provide peace and healing, and kind of you could take your practice, which is what I call it, your practice, your consultations, and move them into the metaverse. One thing I like to say is for people who the house is busy, you got kids running around all over the place, or it's crazy because you're taking care of your mom or anything like that. Like, you can use that as a quick escape. So if you create a space that is calming, someone can put their headset on and go into a fully immersed, whatever your vision is for them, walk through that, and then come back into their reality and kind of just have that moment of peace. Because it's hard to do that when you got kids running around. It's funny because I had my nephew this weekend, and he's 2. I don't have kids, but he might as well be one of mine because he hangs out with me. And so, I'm just sitting there thinking, I'm like, yo, I need to get in and finish this video that I'm doing for VR, or, check on this property that I want to do something with. And he was there, and I'm like, I can't do it. And then he took a nap, and I'm like, that's like the perfect time to just jump in and do something. But yeah, so it obviously every situation is different, but you can definitely create that space and then create a vision for letting people walk through your vision is what I should say. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. That sounds like something to definitely consider.
Yeah,
Oh man. Energy healing space in the metaverse.
Yes. And people are doing it. Like, you got a lot of folks doing it. And so, you're in the industry and you don't even know that these spaces are there, but they're there. There's a couple actually. And then also working out is really big in virtual reality. Again, it's just being able to quickly get in there and have like a power session, and be carted off to like a canyon somewhere where you feel like you're actually running through a canyon, or working out in the middle of a canyon or something like that. It works for some folks. Other people, they just get dizzy. So it just depends.
Oh my gosh. No, I'll have to check that out. I guess because for me, like, the metaverse is just so new. I don't even think about it. I'm like, oh, let me just do old school. And oh, I have the interwebs. I'm doing this. I'm like 20 years behind. Life.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's really just, it's the next iteration of your website. So what you said was that you thanked Jatobi for letting you do the walkthrough of your website. So think about that virtually. So it's a walkthrough of your website virtually. That is how you could look at it. And then the walking part is actually being done with your avatar. So just like in games, you're playing a game, and that game, as a gamer, you definitely have an idea of what this whole thing is way more than somebody who has never experienced any kind of anything virtual. But we've been there for a long time. So yeah, it's creating your business in the metaverse and seeing how you want to show up and deciding what flavor of it you want to become. So yeah. And then you can like stick your healing moments on Pluto. So that's my line. And I say that all the time because I want to be like, all my spaces are usually in space somewhere in the middle of the universe. But
you said you were going dancing on Pluto. From what I remember you telling me, you said you were going to go dancing on Pluto.
I may have done that. I may do that. Yeah, I probably said it. It sounds like me.
So literally meditations. Literally meditations.
Right now. Yes.
So you could literally do a meditation.
Do
And
you
so
see
what
what
you
this is right
meditate,
there?
you're like,
That is the meta mind shift. Did you see it? It
That's
just
ah,
happened right there.
I want to be in the metaverse.
You just had a meta mind shift, which is the title of Nicole's show every Tuesday at 6 o'clock
That's it.
and everything. And you just literally had a meta mind shift, as she just put it, because that's where you get an understanding of what meta is about and how it can work. And we're not talking about that Facebook version, because that's a whole misnomer that's
No,
meta.
no, no.
That's not really meta.
No.
bigger
But
than that.
Mark Lee, this is amazing. And like Nicole knows why I'm so excited because like, do you realize though?
Yes.
Like, so people and I do this, like you can meditate to the other side. If
Oh,
you
wow.
do this in the metaverse, you can literally physically like metaversely meditate to the other side. Like, really?
See, I hadn't gone there, but yeah, I'm guessing you probably could. I guess if you could do that, then it's possible.
I like that idea, and definitely. I've never asked you this, Nicole, but is the metaverse pet friendly? Because Kara is a pet mom. She's not a mom of her own, but she is a pet mom with a lovely cat and an even more lovely dog. Because I think the dog is the one that is more dependent on Kara, whereas Rita can go do whatever Rita wants to do because Rita's a cat.
So I'll say this. Somebody actually asked me this a year ago, actually, and they were just like, so you're neglecting your dog because you're in your headset. No, I'm not. My dog, he sees me in my headset, but he's doing the exact same thing that he'd be doing if I was sitting at my computer, which is sitting right there or over there or over there, and he's hanging out. What was funny when I first got the headset, and sometimes it still does happen, but when I first got the headset, I would stand up a lot. And so I'm kind of sentient with it now. But when I was standing up and I cleared out like all the furniture and just had like this big open space. He's a little tiny thing. He's a Morkie. And so he would come and like stand underneath, like by my feet. And he was like looking up at me. And so when you're in the headset, like you have this grid that kind of keeps you in a certain space, but it does not account for animal movement. So you don't see the animal moving through there. So I was playing like Walking Dead or Resident Evil or something. And I'm sitting there like I'm freaking out anyway. And so he's coming and like rubbing up against my legs or whatever. And it's kind of like it was very interesting to him that I had this thing on my head because dogs, they like you to look at them and see them in their face and stuff. So he's always like looking for my eyes and seeking me out. But it took some adjustment for sure. But yeah, he never got like stepped on or anything. We were good, which thankfully, because he's tiny and little tiny dogs are fragile. So he was fine, but it's definitely different. So you got to get your pet used to it. But you do that if you bought a new couch too. You would make sure that whatever you're introducing into their space is that you introduce them to it. So you just got to take it slow. But he's not neglected in any kind of way because of that. He does the same exact thing that he always does. So he's good.
Oh, yeah. They just want us to be around.
Yeah. And I, even more so with COVID, right? Like since COVID, everybody was at home, and he goes through it's painful when I go take the trash out or something. It's like you're gone for 4.5 seconds. Where did you go? I don't see you anymore. I don't hear you. What are you doing? And he's freaking out. But no, with the headset, he's okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is Henry around, Karen? Because I know that Henry is not a small dog. It's a bigger dog, but Henry is a comfortable dog. And definitely, like I said, Rita's probably hiding over there somewhere too, the lovely cat.
So she was like laying in front of me, like on the other side of the room. I think Henry's in the bedroom in the other room. I'm alone now, but he's usually in his dog bed next to me. But tonight he's like, forget you.
Yeah.
And then I'm, the guys know this. I'm in the middle of packing. And so Rita's like, oh, where are we going? We've done this before. And so she's like, don't forget to pack me. So she's been more like present, like, hi, so I exist.
Right.
Like, don't forget me and the litter box. And then Henry's like, I don't know what's going on. This is stressful. I'm taking a spa day in the bedroom. So
hanging out.
Hey, Jacoby, this may shock you, but one of the other shows that we sometimes air as a rerun is Brian Shulman's and Nancy's show and all of that. But Nancy has been joking lately that because the cat that they have, or the cat that she has, likes to step on the keys and likes to be involved, that particular show, particularly What's Good Wednesday, and I guess also Shout Out Saturday, has a cat producer. So they sometimes will make a running joke that, and I'm thinking that even your animals are sometimes producing this show and all along those lines, because they will make a comment about how they will, type on the keys and do other things. So I was worried that maybe even in the metaverse, we could be having a dog producer and all in that line. So do they ever get into ways where they are actually doing productions? Because like I said, Nancy is always talking about that sometimes they are literally responding back because they're typing with their little paws on the keys. And of course, they're also just like getting that attention that animals want. So is there any concerns that we have that we might be getting an animal producer, since I know that you have a pet as well, Jatovi?
My dog goes to sleep. There's no way that dog is going to produce. Anytime she goes outside, she's happy outside, then comes inside. She's dead to the world till tomorrow.
Farts, she'll produce farts. That's it.
That's it. Outside of that, you may get, since they do have the AI devices producing, or the AI stuff producing pictures, actually videos now. So you could technically get a producer, and I don't want to give any. No, I can't give the ending of a show away. I can't do that. But
which show?
There's She-Hulk. There's AI and She-Hulk.
I passed.
Yeah.
You know what? What's funny is there was a story that came out last year about cows and VR headsets. And they were putting VR headsets on cows, which I can't, but they did. And it was an experiment, but it actually made their milk smoother. They said that it was calming to the cows and it made them feel like they were grazing in greener pastures, I guess. But their milk actually came out smoother than it had previously. And so I'm not touching that. I don't think that's the right thing to be doing with animals at all. They can't choose.
How can you tell if the milk is smoother?
I'm assuming there's a metric. I don't know, like there's some kind of way.
I'm guessing
a bad cow.
I don't know.
Milk chunks.
I mean, I'm guessing like a taste test. You give the cow that they have the AR, you get their milk, and then you get the milk that is the milk.
This cow does cottage cheese.
So right. I'm assuming it's kind of like one of those taste tests, like they used to do with Coke and Pepsi and things of that nature. So I'm assuming it's some sort of taste comparison test and all along those lines. I hope that Nicole is still listening, because she actually did something interesting on her show. Actually, I tried it on my phone. My phone is not the best, but apparently if you go to type in tiger in Google, you can get a 3D version of the tiger that can literally walk around and do other things. But I'll let Nicole explain it, because she does a much better job than I do. And I did try the experiment. I did hear the roar of the tiger, and I think I saw a little bit of an imagery, but I have an older Android, so I probably need to upgrade in order to get the full experience. But apparently it does work, because I did hear the roar of the tiger, and I also tried a bear as well. And I think I tried a hippo, but I tried a couple of the bigger animals, but I did get at least their sound effects, if not the full imagery. But and anybody, maybe Jatovi's got his phone with them, or maybe Kara's got her phone with her. But if you want to explain what you were explaining on the show, like I said, I tried it. It was fun.
Yeah, you just said it perfect. That you can type in tiger, and when you type in tiger, it comes up with the image of the tiger, and there should be a little logo or notice there that says try in 3D or view in 3D. And so that's just on Google search. View it in 3D, and when you view it, he's doing it right now. Tell us what you're seeing. So when you view it in 3D, you're able to actually click it and then pull it out. And actually, I guess I could. You're going to be able to pull it out and pull it into your space. And so this is AR, which is augmented reality. You're changing the reality that you're in right now instead of having virtual reality. It's like virtual reality, which is where you are fully immersed in a different reality. So you can pull this tiger into your living room or wherever you are, and it will just sit there like on the floor. And this one's actually interactive, or not interactive, but it is. It's a motion 3D image, so it will move its head and roar, and you'll hear the sounds and all that stuff. So like literally, when I did this the first time, like I was sitting in my living room, and I happened to have my desk in my living room, and I pulled the tiger onto my desk and was able to see it there. I have pictures of it on my TV and kind of on some of my other spaces and things. So you can have fun with this, but it's a really cool way just to kind of quickly understand what AR is. So now you can go tell somebody else like how to do it, and they now understand what AR is. Because to me, AR is like the one thing, like people are so like you use AR a lot. So if you're on Instagram, you're using AR filters, you just don't know it. If you have a Samsung phone, you have an AR avatar that's there in your camera, you probably just don't use it. So you can augment your face in all these different ways and change things up, but people don't realize that it's AR. So when you show it to them like this, it's like, oh, I got a tiger in my living room. Okay, now I get it. So now you can see, like, I could have a holistic pool in my living room that you've designed, and that can be like the next thing, or whatever.
How do you do this?
Go to your phone,
Okay.
you have your phone up, go to Google search, and then you're going to type in the word tiger.
Okay.
Do you have an iPhone or Android?
Android.
Okay.
Oh, like me, I'm always Android. Always everything Android. So type in tiger, and then you'll be able to see it. It should say view in 3D.
Toward the bottom, after you see the tiger, it's still like a little. What I saw was like a little cube thing, and that's where I saw the thing that said view in 3D.
Okay, so the search bar, you type tiger, and then click the little search thing.
And then it should come up with a picture. Scroll down slightly. For me, the second picture right underneath the Wikipedia is a Bengal tiger.
Oh.
So click that.
I think she just did.
Bengal tiger?
Yep. And then you should see it, and then you should click the button that says view in your space. And then kind of it'll start recognizing the area around you, so kind of point it at the floor.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
I just have view animals, view more animals. But it doesn't say view in space.
Above that, what does it say? Because for me, like I see more animals is at the bottom.
Yeah.
But in the actual like inside the main portion of the phone, I see like mine's is telling me it can't find the floor, so it's looking for a different surface.
View tiger. So I clicked on view tiger, and then I have this.
So there should be a button there that says, oh, so you don't have the button. Why don't you have the button?
Oh, what model Android do you have, Kara?
It's like a one-touch generic something rather.
That might be why.
Yeah, because
One
you did
thing
say
to
the
check.
older versions.
So one thing you can check. So this technology, this AR technology, has been in the Pixel phones for a while. Well, not Pixel, but
Oh,
Android phones for a while. But nobody actually used it as much as the tech community. For example, when there was a Star Wars movie that came out. There was an Android phone you could buy, and then on that Android phone, you could actually put in R2D2 and C3PO in your room and take pictures of that.
Yeah,
wow.
I did that. I did
Yep.
that.
And that
Totally
was,
one of those people.
but what was crazy is not a lot of people knew about it.
Yeah.
It's the Google AR service that you have to install. I mean, you may not have it installed in your phone at the beginning because there's that AR. You can go to the Play Store, and if you type in basically just Google AR, up the top there's Google Play services for AR. And there are just tons of AR things there because, again, the technology for the Android phones has been there for a while. It's just that the tech community was the one that really took advantage of it.
Hold on a second, Jacoby, just for a minute. I'm sorry, because I've been having this whole imagery thing in my head. So, Nicole, you actually had R2D2 hanging out in your apartment, or CPO, or whatever those other characters were, because I'm visualizing Nicole running around with like R2D2 in the house as well. So, is that what was going on? Did you have R2D2?
I had set it up. So when I had it, I think it was on the Pixel 4.
So you had Mando.
2. It might have been the 2. I'm a Pixel chick. I just changed over to the Samsungs again, and I'm changing back to 7 when I can. But I think it was the Pixel 2 XL. It might have been the 4, but I actually pulled in several of the little characters. Now, mind you, I'm not a Star Wars fan, so I'm going to call them little characters because that's what they were to me. So it is. So I had them lined up, and I was actually at a conference at a hotel, and I had them lined up, and they were in like where other people were. And so it was just kind of funny. So like I snapped the picture of all of them lined up and all these people just standing around having no clue that like these little drones were standing there with their little guns and all this stuff right in front of them. So yes, I have done that. And it was fun when it first came out. They had a bunch of other ones too. I have pictures of that stuff. I should find that. But it's definitely, I forgot all about that. So thank you.
And it was, I think even Lowe's started pushing AR because you could, it was either Lowe's or IKEA was quick to push AR. So you could furnish your home and then order it directly from whatever it was. I think it might have been IKEA.
Toby, I'm already scared about you because you didn't mention Lowe's twice, and we've already heard what Kara might do with a 2x4 if the wrong person says
No.
just trying to stay on her good
side. I'm not violent.
Like I said, I'm trying to stay on her good side. She said she worked at Lowe's. She had a good time with Lowe's. All right, we're gonna talk about Lowe's.
Did you get it working?
So I decided, let's install an app that'll work with it. But what it did was it was a separate app. And I'm watching a hummingbird. There's a hummingbird in my coffee cup.
There are actually some games that you can play that are set up where you can do that are set up in AR.
Check this out. Do you have one? Because I know of one. A guy I know developed one. He's a brother out. I forget where he's at. I think he's in California. But the game, if you want to download it, it's called Saving Party Island, and it's a tower defense game that you can pull out and pull onto your floor and shoot stuff up on your floor.
Interesting. Okay.
Saving Party Island.
Yep, his name is Dre Smith. He's a developer out of I want to say he's in California.
Like Nightfall is one. You can get Nightfall AR. That's another. I mean, there are a couple out there. I got to check out. And it was Saving Party Island.
Yep. So I don't know if you can. Can you? No, you can't see that. No. Oh well. Maybe I can turn this thing off. I wanted to show it really quick. So I don't know. Can you see that? So like, it's like
blurring it out. So
it's blurred. Let's see.
Oh, there we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep.
That's cool.
When did I take this? This was in 2018. Was that one? So that would have been the Pixel. For me, it would have been a Pixel 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
And one of my favorite shows AR is a big thing in one of my favorite shows, which is Black Mirror. That was the whole premise of that show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is. I love Black Mirror. And so Mark and I have been talking about Black Mirror. See, Mark, I told you.
Mark, you haven't watched Black Mirror? Mark, did you watch Black Mirror? Uh-oh.
He's focusing.
Mark, you falling asleep?
He's doing something. Mark, are you falling asleep? Because he does look like he's falling asleep.
He's focusing.
Uh-oh.
He's got us muted.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, well, why am I over here? Move me over there. Yeah. So
Put Nicole back. She doesn't want to be in the middle. Thank you.
Did you try this though? I was curious because once I saw this story pop up, I didn't know if you were one of the 38.
We just talked about this on the show today because I am live broadcasted on the Black Business Network on Pod TV. I run at 6 p.m. on Tuesdays. So you guys tap in, everybody. Set your reminders. But yes, we talked about this. And so I think this is funny. This is a cool, interesting way of outsiders looking at things. And so I feel differently about this. Like, I feel like it's two different ways. I'll say what I said on the show. Like, I feel like there's two different things going on here. So it did not report that. So the metaverse itself did not make that report. Someone else did. So first of all, you have to understand, we're gamers, right? So there's going to be things like peak hours. So, is it heavily populated? No. Are there actually 38 people there? No. I think that, they could have sharding going on. I'm not sure where the snapshot was taken that they came up with 38. They could have server sharding going on where they're limited to a certain number of users per server. And so that's what number they happen to come up with on that particular server. Like maybe the limit is 100 or 50 or something like that. And they came up with 38 because that's all they could see. But the other more plausible to me reason is because when you go into Decentraland, there are two ways to get in there. And one is as a guest, and the other is with your Web3 wallet. And just to kind of say that, so you have a wallet, anonymity is a thing in Web3. So you could potentially have users who come in with different wallets every single time they're going in there. Or they could use, it depends on how they actually counted these people. If they didn't use the blockchain, then to me, it doesn't count. And furthermore, like, I don't know if that's a metric that matters because, we know it's early. You know what I mean? Like 38 is very low. It does, like MySpace has hit more than 38 people. But then I also use it for social VR. A lot of these things are social VR, so it's a social activity. So when you go to a party, there's 700 people there. But when there's no party going on, there's like one or two or three, And so you can go there right now and just see how many people are there. I don't know, if it's going to be empty or not. I don't go in Decentraland a whole lot. But I do know that when I have been there, that I can count more than 38 people just by the people who are around me. So I don't know where the numbers came from. The reports that I read today on that story that's been coming out all week and it's only Tuesday, but all week is that that they're redoing the numbers because they got it wrong. So that to me is more likely that they just had no clue what they were actually looking at because they're looking at Web3. And then like in Web3, like I think that the metrics are going to be different. We pride ourselves on keeping data and things like that in the hands of the users. So you're not going to have these big systems that are able to grab this type of data from us anyway. And so maybe this is our notice to the world that it's working as intended. You'll never be able to know that on anything. I don't know. But I'm interested to see kind of what Decentraland comes out with. And then the original posters of that article, they are also saying that they went back and revised. They're doing the numbers again. And so they're going to do an updated report. That's now that they've had their Web3 education, I guess. I don't know. We'll see.
Because Nicole, what's the biggest event you've seen in the Web3? Because I know that, and I've even brought this up on this show. Sometimes Jatovi gives me a hard time about it, and I don't always do it. But just like I will lip sync very badly on the shows that I mentioned earlier, there was a time, even though I've not been doing it recently because I've been so busy, that I used to be part of the Daybreakers community, which is those big Zoom dance parties. And yes, I would sometimes get my dance groove on. But at the beginning of the pandemic, there were literally thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that were on those things. I don't know how Zoom maintained those numbers, but definitely every time I looked around, it was all those little images of people all over the world. So I'm guessing that there were probably at least several thousand, myself included. But I'm wondering whether we're seeing those kind of big events in the metaverse yet, or is that something that is going to be further down the line? Because like I said, I was like a little small cube among the many whenever they would do the mosaic pictures and all in that space. But yeah, they would do a snapshot, and they would. Yes, you told me there was pictures. They just are pictures out there in Zoom of me trying to get my groove on and all of that. I'm a horrible dancer, but at least I tried, as they consider me like an ambassador among the Daybreaker community, because they were the ones that did those daytime parties around the country, including DC and New York. And then when we went inside during COVID, they took them online, and now they're doing like a hybrid version because they're definitely going back out to Miami, New York, overseas, and everywhere else. But they are still doing the online version. Matter of fact, I think I just got an email that there's one coming up, so maybe I'll send that to Jatovi so he can get his dance groove on as well.
All I have right now are visions of Mark twerking.
Right. And so, Mark, you said you are a ambassador, a Dance Revolution ambassador is what I heard you say.
Daybreaker community is that community that, and yes, they have made me somewhat of somebody that they will be glad when they see me and that they like me spreading the word about them. So just like my friend Zach is a member of the funk music community as their ambassador for Bukti and his group. Yes, I do consider myself to be a Daybreaker ambassador and to spread the word. And yes, they do send me regular emails, even though I've not been on one of their parties probably in 5 or 6 months. But yes, they might see me. And ironically, Kara, part of what they do is they're also in that wellness space. So they usually will start off with like some yoga and some stretching and some stuff in that wellness space. And then they might bring on some of the old school bands. Because I know one time they had the Daggone Village people on. And I think another time they might have had Sweet Honey and the Rockers, some of those other type of groups and all of that. And even though it's a youth dance movement, they know that they got some older folks in there, which is why they have AARP as one of their sponsors and all in that space. So it's a wide ranging age group, but yeah, they definitely have some wellness.
That's
things.
Adorable.
And I even tried some of the yoga and some of the stretches, but I know that I am out of shape. So I did not do a good job of that, even though I did meet one of the yoga instructors. I think she might've been up in DC in the online, and she did a good job of trying to get us to do yoga. But after 2 or 3 stretches, I was toast. So I got to do better.
You know, I get it. I'm 38 and I'm still like, oh, I have to stretch a little more. Like, gotta make sure that in between my, virtual sessions and all of that I stretch out and take a walk and move and stop sitting. So I get it.
I'm glad you get it. I hope Jacoby does as well. And no, there will never ever be a picture of me twerking. There may be pictures, including from back in the day, of me doing the bump, including with family members, because definitely I don't know how to do that dance and some other dance moves. So there might be some pictures of that, but you will never find me twerking ever a day in your life.
What's your mom's number? I want to call her and say, hi, do you have video footage of Mark Lee dancing?
There might be some, particularly from some of the family things. You'd probably have a better chance of finding those from the keeper of the family records, who, as I mentioned to y'all before, she lost her husband, but Aunt Julie is still the keeper of the family records. And definitely, if I ever have questions that I want from the family, you call Aunt Julie, and she's probably got pictures, and I don't know about videos, but she has got plenty of pictures and newspaper records, because she is the keeper of the family records. And like I said, she'll probably even dig up pictures of exes, and then they might even make comments like, nope, that one we knew was crazy, that one was okay, we don't know why he left that one, and things along those lines. So yes, there are the family members have their family keepers. I'm sure you have yours, and I'm sure Nicole has somebody in her family that is the keeper of the family records. Both of them are gonna leave you alone on that one, huh?
My grandma.
Your grandma?
She's like the keeper of the family tree. I think she makes it up half the time. So.
And I think Julie might make it up half the time. But Nicole, is there a keeper of the family tree for you, or is that you?
It's kind of me. Yeah, it's kind of me. It depends on which side of the family we're talking about. But yeah. I keep the tree and make sure that everybody's actually on it. So that is it. We found out, or I guess, I found that our family tree goes back to, we were able to trace it back to a very long time ago. And it was because my uncle, my cousin, my mom's someone, he's I think a cousin. He was actually the keeper of the family tree, and he'd been keeping it up on my grandma's side for a very long time. And so they had this wonderful tree made out, and it had hundreds of people on there. But then I realized, I'm like, we're all missing, like the whole entire line of grandchildren. We were all not there because they didn't know any of us. So I took that, updated it, and then kind of kept it and passed it around through my side of the family so that everybody had it. So, it was important to me, especially when my grandma passed, to be able to do that. So, yeah, I guess it's me. I didn't really think about that, but yeah, it is.
Cool. That sounds good and everything. That's cool. I can definitely relate to that family tree attitude, and definitely, I know I try to stay close. I actually had one of my cousins appear on one of a guest on somebody else's show. It's actually that veteran show. So I did pull cousin Emmett into that and all along those lines. But yeah, I try to keep in touch with my cousins, if nobody else. And one of the things we do in our family is first, second, third cousin. It doesn't matter if you're a cousin, even if technically you're not the cousin, because I have some cousins on my uncle's side, the uncle that just passed, but they are technically his nephew and nieces, but they all live in this area. So as far as we're concerned, they're still cousins, even though bloodline they're not.
Yeah. Well, I am so sorry, but Jacoby, what I told you might happen happened. And so I'm just gonna go and just spaz and possibly dance myself, do a happy dance, and and just be super happy. And so, Nicole, it's so good to meet you. Mark Lee, I love you. You're so sweet. Jacoby,
just really
you're
quickly,
awesome.
Just really quickly before you get out of here, there is I don't know where your current situation is with what we talked about, but there are some leads that I might be passing on to you very nearly and closely. Some of them involve moving much too far away, but just to let you know that those are going on as well, because I did hear some people in that space.
Call me after the show.
I'll
be up.
All right.
And I love you all, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good.
Yeah, bye.
Yep. I don't know how long Nicole's gonna hang with us either, because she did tell me that she's had a long day.
I got a good question for Nicole though.
Hey, I'm here.
So, growing up, we played a lot of video games, a lot of crazy stuff. For you, a game that you played in your past that you would love for them to make it VR.
Vindictus.
Why?
Because that is my favorite game, hands down. And Nexon has done a terrible job of staying true to the way that it started. So DevCat is an awesome studio, and they published Vindictus, and then Nexon kind of acquired DevCat and did some things that, it's come a very long way since kind of I stopped loving it, or since I stopped playing it. But that would be the game, because I'm an Eevee in that game, and I want to do, what I want to do? I want to do, I have a skill, and that skill is called reverse gravity. And so I can literally take the entire world and reverse gravity and then rain down hell on everybody. And that is what I want to be able to do in real life. But you know what I also want to do, Jatovi, is the metaverse is like some of these reports that have been coming out, like since this whole thing about, there's only 38 users, like everybody's digging in now, trying to find like little holes to poke and stuff. And one of the things that people said is it's boring. Like there's sad spaces. Everything is sad because there's nobody there. What I want to be able to do, like no lie, is PvP in VR. Like I need that in my life. And I think that it would be like a version of Fight Club for people that would be safe. And boxing is kind of fun in there, but it's like you're actually in a boxing ring. I don't want to be in a boxing ring. I want to be standing in a line somewhere, and you get into my little 6 feet zone, and me just get get on my nerves a little bit, and then I just challenge you, and we just start PvPing. Like, fix it right now. Let's do it. And so,
Nicole,
so have you seen Street Fighter 6 though? The trailers and information about that? Because in all honesty, what you're talking about is similar to what they're doing with that. So what is it? NBA, the whole NBA 2K series where they took everybody outside, and you had the street basketball that you could pick up and play. You could go to different courts if you wanted to. You basically could walk around it's a very enclosed area, but you could go to the workout gym. You could go to this. In Street Fighter 6, it looks like they're opening it up to doing actually what you're talking about, where you can pretty much PvP anyone, anywhere, just about. But yes, I agree. That would kind of be.
Now we know that most of the listeners here are into
do that township tale.
Yeah, we know that most of the listeners here are into the gamers world, and that's why it's the Gamers Den. But we also know that there are folks like me that are learning about gaming and all of that. So if y'all could give a glossary lesson, because sometimes when you say EV, people think electric vehicles, and I don't think that's what you're talking about. And PvP or whatever y'all just did.
PvP is player versus player. Okay. So it is a fight. It is a battle. It is a moment where you call out somebody, and then you guys go at it, and it just depends on what your skills are, whether or not you're going to win. Maybe a little bit of technique in there somewhere, but it is definitely PvP. And so open world games, which are games that are not dungeon based, and you're able to kind of roam around freely. We've had PvP for a long time. Right. We've had open world for a long time. And so those concepts are coming to the metaverse. I haven't seen PvP come to an open world metaverse yet, but I can't wait until I can just be walking around in a replica of the real world and actually just go at it in PvP. I have I did a video this week where I was playing a game in VR. It's Ultimech. It's a new game that's out, and you kind
How
of
is that?
It was fun. I had a blast. Like I actually really like that game. And I'm terrible at it, but I really do like it because it's basically soccer. But
Yeah.
you know, you're scoring a goal essentially. There's a little bit of keep away involved. But you become this machine. And so it's kind of like you become Optimus Prime or like one of the Autobots. And so you're able to your controllers, instead of you having hands, you are actually seeing your thrusters, or like your robot hands,
Mhm.
whatever you're gonna call those. But it was cool. I need to go back because I have to get to level 10 so I can get a green outfit.
You in that green?
It's got to be green, everything, all of it.
Yeah, she's totally into green. The green is
All
like
of
her thing. Yeah, and it's not just the money, because we know she's into the money green, but it's like the color green as well. But y'all, you also use the word EV, like I said, when I hear that, I think of electric vehicles, but I'm thinking that it's a gaming term. So, what was that initials for?
I don't know that that's what I said. I know.
And I might have misheard you. Wouldn't be the first time.
Huh?
I said, and I might have misheard. It wouldn't be the first time, and it won't be.
No. EVM is like a term when we're talking about the blockchain. It's Ethereum virtual machines.
Okay.
But I don't think that that's what I said in relation to this specifically. So I'm pretty sure all I said was PvP. I said EV. That's the character's name.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's the type of character she is. So she's a mage, but her class is Eevee.
Gotcha. Then that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what you heard. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to backtrack. I'm like, I don't know.
I appreciate that. Hey, Jacoby, you've got an esports center coming. Do we have room or a role for a metaverse goddess in this lovely Everse center of yours that's going to be built in Durham? And can she move to this area and work maybe remotely, or work remotely from there for this lovely space that you're about to open at the end of, well, the middle of next year and all of that? Because you're getting all these lovely sponsors and it's going to happen.
Well, I'm hoping it's going to happen. I got to find a bunch of investment and stuff. But yes, it's going to be a 2-floor facility. And top floor is going to be an arena. The bottom floor is going to be a full-blown VR escape room with a bunch of extra VR stuff in there, because I'm going to, push towards a lot of the metaverse stuff, because that is the future. It is going on.
Yes.
Especially because, was it SideQuest that just got bought by Google?
Yes.
Which is huge, because now Google is really going to be a big player in the whole VR space.
So as much as I love Google, I don't know what this is. I'm hoping that that's what that means, right? But they did this at the same time that they finally went ahead and killed Stadia. So I don't know.
So I think because of, they had to kill Stadia. Stadia didn't have any backing. Stadia didn't even have games that were going to Stadia.
I wanted that so bad. Like I was one of the founders. I'm like, I'm here for this. Let's go Google. And then they just totally, they have a habit of doing that. As much as I love them, I'm a partner. Let me just say that my organization is a partner with Grow with Google. We just got gold certified, so yay us. But we are. When it comes to stuff like this, they tend to do stuff and test it out, and they test it out in real time, and then they turn it down in real time too. So it just depends.
See, I'm thinking this one's different just because SideQuest has basically been there for a long time. Yeah. And that's where everybody sideloaded what is it, virtual machine and everything else.
Everything. So I like it. If that's what they want to do. Like if they really, because like it also feels like this could just be like, all right, Facebook, you're not going to get rid of us since you're over here partnering up with Microsoft and didn't mention us at all. we're still here and don't forget it. And I kind of love that, right? Like if that's the power play that they did, like I absolutely do love that for that reason. I don't know.
I mean, but you've got everybody else jumping in too. You've got, of course, Valve pushed out they're gonna do this revolutionary headset. What is it? The Pico 2 just dropped.
The Pico Neo 3. We're on 3. They actually have a 4. So hopefully 4 comes out too. But that's the headset of choice for me. So really? I don't have one, but if you're listening, Pico Neo, I am available and you can ship me something right there at metamindshift.com. We can talk. So I say this to them every week. But I definitely would love to have Pico as a sponsor or something for the show. To me, their headset is an alternative to a Facebook. So you don't have to have an Oculus. You can have a Pico Neo. But I'm excited about the HTC 3, or I'm sorry, the HTC, the new ones that are coming out. They have a new headset that they have done a sneak peek of. And it's sexy. It's a good looking headset. It's slimmer. It's black. It looks good. And that's a part of their extension into the metaverse, which I'm all here for because it's all about the blockchain. So that to me has me sold, and I can't wait till they actually waiting because sometimes folks don't follow through on the things that they say. So we'll see. But you can't discount NVIDIA either, because I wanted to ask you about the new graphics cards that came out. Like, what do you think? But then also I have a friend who works there. They're in the Omniverse, and so I downloaded that last year, I think, and I haven't touched it. So there's a lot going on. I know it's terrible, but we got the metaverse, the multiverse, and the omniverse. So that is why my club is called Blackverse. We jump through everything. So
if I remember, wasn't Epic trying to create one as well? Because Epic had their what was it? They were trying to jump to something because the way Fortnite took off and the reason they're pushing through all these extra things. What was it?
It sounds familiar, but I don't know. There's so much that happens on a daily basis. It's really hard to keep up with everything.
Non-stop.
Cameron's been around because I just saw an article that Netflix is getting into the gaming business. Good grief.
Netflix jumped into gaming and they do apps they do mainly apps. And I think they have a PC game or two. But yes.
Well, they're looking at having an in-house game studio in Southern Cal, of course. So they're going to go out to Southern Cal.
Same thing with Amazon. Amazon's buying up different game studios just to have an in-house game studio.
Gotcha.
Lost Ark was an Amazon studio project.
Yeah.
But it was a purchased developer that had a game. Same thing with the other game that they put out, or the other couple of games they put out. Gaming is a big business. You're talking about a $200 billion industry right now that's only growing.
But I've been saying this, and people don't get it, but it's so true. It's like everything that we do is gaming, and you just don't realize it. You have lotto tickets, that's gaming. You have the idea of winning a contest, that's gaming. You have gamification literally in everything, almost everything that's out here, whether it's, having a ladder for a leaderboard, like all of those things are foundations and roots in gaming. But when you get into the blockchain and thinking about like Web3 and things like that, like all of everything that we do is in gaming. And so if I said the words to you, this is soulbound, like, what that is when you're talking about inventory. And so it's like, it makes it that much easier because now we have NFTs that are soulbound. And so they are going to forever be associated with you as your character or you as your person, your avatar. Avatars. That's another thing. It's built around gaming, which is built around religion, but still, there's a lot. That
RPGs are all about religion.
Well, I mean, I was going to say, in a lot of ways, isn't gaming and religion kind of tied together? Because some people would make the argument that that is maybe one of the ultimate games, the game of
Oh,
life and the game of whether you're gonna make it or not make it on the good side or the bad side. So there's definitely that argument is to whether life in and of itself isn't the one big game and all in that space. Whether it's because in one game that you'll never totally win because you know the consequences at the end. But in terms of like if you're gonna go into that soul space, then that's a whole game conversation that you could have. And
mm.
ironically, Nicole, you just brought that up, and I heard something similar. Like you're saying that everything is gaming, and yeah, I think you were on when I mentioned the car show and all. Actually, you may not have got on by that time, but the person that was in the car show that we have on the network, they said that everything is sales. So technically speaking, y'all are probably both right because everything is at the end of the day sales. Because their argument was that whether you're pursuing a relationship or whether you're pursuing a purchase of food or whatever, you are always doing some sort of sales, either as a customer or as the salesperson.
So I will never co-sign that. I am literally the person that says I have no skills whatsoever when it comes to sales.
And that's what I said as well.
I get what they're saying though, but that's if you approach it as if it's a sale. I guess I don't know. I guess you could look at things like that. And I feel the same way about gaming though. Like you could look at everything as if it's a game. It literally is though. And so gamers have gotten flack for so long, so long. And it's like, this is our time now. And we are coming back. And it's like, everybody doesn't know what's going on, but we do because we're here all the time. And we already know kind of what all these things are about. I think that it's really cool to just see this transformation occurring in the world where it's like, no, you're not going to down this person anymore as just somebody who's kind of stuck in their grandmother's basement. They are actually somebody who is building the future, like ironically. And I think that it's very helpful for kids too, who have kind of they've gravitated towards games for whatever reason. And I don't mean like in an addiction sort of way, but people who find enjoyment in games. Their parental units have typically shunned them for that and told them, that that's terrible. You got to do this and do that. But now it's like people can actually make an income doing this, or they can pursue an education. Like you said, they can turn it into an esports career. That's actually a thing now. And so I think that we're at this really cool space where all the things that I love are actually coming to fruition and colliding in a really weird way. But I also think that it's really weird to use like your IGN in real life. Like, I don't know. I was on a podcast with someone, and they called me by my nickname, and I didn't know this person, and I just thought that it was weird, and I'm like, what do you mean? And so I called him on it, and he's like, well, everybody knows you by that. And I'm like, do they? I'm like, because my name's Nicole. And I'm like, it's just weird because we're not in that virtual setting. We're not in the game per se, but you called me that. So we're going to enter that space where things are emerging and melding together in really cool ways. So
that makes a lot of sense. Hey, just really quickly, and I think we're almost winding down and all of that, but I just saw something that caught my eyes, but also somewhat shocked that they did it, but maybe I shouldn't be shocked because we're talking about Netflix doing games, and now I'm seeing that Apple apparently is letting the Russians come back on the App Store, even though they're in the middle of that war. But apparently they're saying that they have gotten proof that they are not majority owned or controlled by a sanctioned entity, which I guess would be Putin and his folks. But they're going to let them come back onto the Apple Store. I did not know
that. Apple's interesting.
Yeah, Apple is interesting. And they apparently just made that announcement today. So I'm like, okay, Apple, y'all making a power play with y'all competitors. Y'all saying that we're going to go for that market.
I mean, Apple was the one. I think they're still in that fight with with Epic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is oddly enough, if that is happening. That trial is still, I guess, going.
Sounds like it.
Epic and Apple had booted Epic from the store because all their stuff because they felt that the way that Epic was actually doing their in-game currency stuff, and Apple wasn't getting a cut of that. Apple was upset.
Mm-hmm.
They felt that they were breaking.
Apple's always upset about that.
Yeah.
Apple stays upset.
But that's Apple, though. I mean, they have their own products, and they are one of the biggest vendors in the world for Epic stuff.
They're the biggest centralized entity on this planet. I feel like they're not, but they might be. But they're going to be, that's the one thing, like, I think about decentralization and I think about Web3, and it's like you have these two companies that thrive off of making sure that you are using only them and that you're kind of beholden to them from a technology standpoint. So it's going to be a difficult journey for some folks to get out of that. And I think like Android users are definitely going to be able to adopt a little bit easier because we're used to being free and not having to break out of jail and things like that to be able to use our devices. But it is like all the FANG companies, it's going to be interesting to see that fight actually start to unfold.
Yes, no doubt. Cool.
That's the fun of technology these days, Mark. The fun of it.
The fun of technology.
Because there's just so much that's happening right now. And I mean, as Nicole said, a lot of the gamers are going to be prepared. A lot of the individuals that aren't gamers won't be as prepared.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw some of that even during the whole pandemic, because those folks that were already on Zoom and were already on platforms like that, they were more easy to make the conversion than those that were not. And that's why some teachers and even some professors got caught off guard because they had not been doing as much in that work, and then they were kind of scrambling.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just wild. It's extremely wild.
The only thing that frustrated me was the Android ownership, and I'm just glad that they got out of it. And I have not been on it as much. I know Nicole still has her rooms and everything, but there was a time frame that us Android folk could not use Clubhouse. But I have not been on Clubhouse in a minute because I be seeing that gang has been quiet on there, and I just haven't. I pop in like maybe once a week or twice a week, but I've not been popping in as much as I used to. Even though I know there are a lot of things going on there, including the Black Business Olympics masterminds and a bunch of other things. So I need to get more back in there, but I've been kind of away lately.
Yeah.
And I hadn't used Clubhouse in them forever. When I started to, but then I stopped. I mean,
yeah. I'm on there.
I jump on Discord all the time.
How do you feel about Discord? So are you a long-term Discord user? Where are you at with Discord now?
I mean, Discord, just like any of the other social medias out there, I like Discord of creating a server and creating a safe space for some people. I'm happy with that and how you can run the bots. The tough part, I wish Discord would set up a lot of, blocking DMs and they're just few quirks that I would like for them to work on. Overall, I think it's a decent system. I think it's going to die down. I mean, it's trying to get bought out. Well, it was trying to sell. Microsoft almost bought it. A few other entities tried to buy it.
Please don't have
Microsoft started to acquire, do a little bit more Discord-ish stuff. I will admit its best thing is still the best communication setup for multiple, like if you're playing on the computer and wanting to play against somebody on an Xbox or a Switch, it's still the best communication device. I mean, it still does that better than anybody else. But it's got its own unique style. And I think one of the things that its downfall is trying to add in so much extra to keep up with everybody else that it's starting to deter people from using it.
I hear you.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I teach Discord, and so it is you can find that at learndiscord.com if you need to learn how to use Discord. If you are one of the folks who is not a gamer and you're watching the show, you can connect with me. But it is I was a beta tester way back in the day when Discord first came out, and I've kind of used it mostly since then, but sporadically quite a bit until the blockchain and things came into my life. And so now the blockchain and NFT communities and DAOs and dApps, like everybody under the sun is on Discord. It used to be just for gamers. And so we were there, and I used it as a tool, ironically, because Mark just said this, to get me off of an app called Raid Call. And Raid Call got bought out or acquired or revealed to be a Russian based app. And so we had to move off of Raid Call and go to something else. I loved Raid Call because it was a better looking version of TeamSpeak, and it wasn't Ventrilo, and it was great. It was more up to date and modern. I always liked that. But then we found Discord, and it was like, I moved the whole guild there, and it was great. And I eventually started using it for coding and development and things like that, because all those communities were there because they preferred that instead of Slack. And now we have the blockchain and NFTs, and everybody's there, and I'm able to teach people kind of what I know. But I will say that with these particular communities, they're not technically inclined anyway. And so there is a learning curve for some folks that is significantly steeper than it feels like it should be. There's a whole lot of features that are being added. They just added forums. Like, what? Why does Discord have forums? But it's there. And so there's a lot of different stuff that you can make use of. And I do think that it is the most decentralized, centralized app on this planet. You can have, your firewalled and sequestered little space and area and do whatever you want to with it for the most part. And we've seen that show up in good and bad things over the years. But I love it, and I get sick of it. So it's like I need a Discord break every now and then, and I also need some sort of better settings. Like I just want, what I really want? I want like a feed. Like, give me a feed. I have over 100 servers because I'm a Nitro user, so I'm probably almost at my limit of about 200 now. But I want to be able to know stuff I actually care about. And I don't have a way of finding that that is quick and concise. I just want to be able to have a feed that shows me all the little stuff, and I can click through it and see updates. And then maybe, how on YouTube you can slow comments. I want to be able to do that with some stuff.
You sure you don't like the little semicircle beside the server that may have something that has
no,
to do with
the little white dot? No, that is not. That's not cutting it. Because every single thing on there has a white dot. Because I haven't been to certain servers in years, so it's like, what's going on?
I feel your pain on that one so much.
Sounds like a lot of deep pain and all of that.
Mark, this is what we're talking about, by the way. So on these sides beside the actual servers,
No, I have Discord, so I knew what y'all were talking about. I have Discord.
Okay.
I've got a couple of Discords that I am part of, and actually, at some point, Nicole will send me an invitation to her Discord where she shows movies because she's got a movie night on Fridays that I just recently learned about, and all in that space. So
I'm surprised you're not in there. Like,
No.
you should totally be in there. Here, just go there and click Discord.
All right, I will do that. We'll
Okay.
solve that problem really quickly. We can go to the Blackverse.io and click. I'll do that actually off the phone. Yes, I can do it from here. Yeah. Just did it in chat, but yes, I'll go do that and make that happen. But Jacoby is also a movie buff and movie fan, in case you couldn't tell. So he probably needs to be there, and his sister's only like a relatively well-known movie actress and TV actress and all that. What she did the voices for, was that the Emmys that she did recently, or was that the Grammy?
The Oscars.
The Oscars. Thank you.
Yeah, right on. You're
Wait a
fine.
second. That brings me back to a question then.
What?
Now, when I mentioned She-Hulk earlier, you said,
Oh.
Why? I'm curious.
I tapped out. Like, I just stopped caring. After, what was the one before that? The one before that, and then the one before that, the one Moonlight thing. I tapped out on that. And so because of that, I was just like, I didn't care. And then the next one came out. I don't even remember the name of that one. But She-Hulk, the only reason I wanted to see it, and I will eventually watch it, is because a girl's in there from Orphan Black. But so I'm gonna support it. I just don't want to support it right now.
Gotcha. I will admit it is. So I enjoyed Moon Knight for what it was, and the cultural aspect of it. And then it was Miss Marvel that came next. And I enjoyed that one a lot because, again, how it touched on its different topics. She-Hulk was She-Hulk.
Was it?
I mean, if you like the comic She-Hulk, and how breaking of that fourth wall, and having like a sitcom feel, it's not, She-Hulk never took She-Hulk seriously. There were some comics that it did, some versions of She-Hulk that, it was a little bit more serious, but no, She-Hulk itself, she broke the fourth wall. It was comical here and there. It was well done. I felt I was thoroughly pleased by that show just because of what they did and how they poked fun at other shows.
Better or worse than WandaVision? Or not in the same league or class at all?
So I would say it's equal to WandaVision.
Really? Did you like WandaVision?
I loved WandaVision.
Okay. And you think it's equal? Okay.
Yeah. Because what WandaVision did, or for me, the way I saw it, because it was dealing with overcoming and, dealing with, remorse and sadness and overcoming that feeling, and grief was her big thing. How she overcame grief and how they told the story, and they did the different segments and broke it down. Basically, okay, you paid homage to the old shows and the old sitcoms and the old comedy, and then really tied into the whole, it was just, I thought WandaVision was so well done. But I also thought She-Hulk, the way they did She-Hulk, it was the most She-Hulk-esque show you could ever do. The final episode, I'm sitting there laughing out loud because of the stuff that they did. It was really on point. I mean, it was, sure, there were some slow parts here that you're like, okay, they could have done better. But even I felt that in WandaVision. There were parts of WandaVision where I was like, okay, the battle with Harkless at the end, I thought was good, but not as good as the whole show. I love the Agatha Harkness reveal, but then in She-Hulk, I'm like, okay, I love the way they did these things and drop these hints towards these other characters and introduce this. I mean, it's very, very entertaining.
Okay.
Very entertaining.
I'll watch it. I mean, I have to because that's what
yeah,
I do. But I've passed. I just haven't been feeling it. But let me ask you now. So now that we've talked about that, are you watching Game of Thrones? Are you watching House of the Dragon?
House of the Dragon, yeah.
What are your thoughts?
House of the Dragon is what Game of Thrones season 5, 6, 7, and 8 should have been.
I don't disagree. Maybe 7 and 8. Definitely 8. But I'm loving all of this. Like, absolutely just in heaven. Oh my goodness. I was screaming on Sunday. I mean, you know, spoilers, I guess. Man, that when that happened, like I don't want to say it because I know somebody's listening. Like when that happened, I was like, oh my God. I was literally screaming at the TV.
It was so awesome. Good. It is such a good show. I mean, and I feet.
Yeah, so I missed the feet thing. I did, and I don't get the feet thing. I need to somebody catch me up because I swear when I was watching it, I saw feet, and then I saw feet on headlines later. But I can't remember what I saw. I remember it.
Oh, it was so disturbing.
Talk about this. I could have fibbed. Like I feel like I should fib and just say, yeah, I know, huh? Right?
ooh. And then there was just the
No, Jacoby, tell me. What is the feet thing?
No, you gotta go back and watch that, girl. You can
Hold on a second. Nicole, you're asking him to tell you about a feet scene, and you won't even tell me what was going on with this crazy advertisement video and everything. So something's not fair here.
I'm definitely not touching that at all, ever. No.
Huh.
Yeah, there's a crazy video about race
No,
riots and stuff.
we're not touching it. Toby, what is the feet thing?
You got to see it. Once you go back and watch it and you see the feet thing, it's fitting. It is the most. So there are so many parts of that show that you're like, okay, I understand this. Sadly, as disturbing as the feet thing is, because you will think it's disgusting because everybody does, you will sit there and say, you understand. It is fitting.
I need you to fill in that gap with words.
There was even the other part that I really enjoyed was the search when they were trying to find him. Because when they couldn't find Aegon, you heard what Chris and what Crispy Chris was talking about. What those two sat there and chit-chatted about. So you know something's about to go down in this season finale.
So, have you read the books?
Yeah.
You've read the books? Okay. Yep. So I'm interested to see how they play this because I know what's getting ready to go down. And so I want to know how far into the future they're going. Mm-hmm. And then also, like, you know, they have a tendency to screw things up when it comes to being true to the books. So,
well,
how much? Not all the time, but a lot of the time. I'm still
all the time. Because remember, Game of Thrones left the books in like season 2.
Huh?
You remember Game of Thrones left the books in like
season it was 2. Early, but you know, that's what I'm saying. And so I don't want them to alter anything. I want this to just go down that path. Like, let me see that happen because I want to see it. But like I don't know how far, like how long this episode's gonna be in terms of time for them. Like how many battles are we actually gonna see? Like how far is this actually gonna go?
But they've got season 2 already lined up.
I
So
know,
they
but
can't
I'm
go too
saying
far.
like where does this one end?
Yeah.
Like is it with this death or is it with this one? Or is it like with that one? So like there's so many different things that they can do. And do they do that is the question too.
I mean, they've got to. They've got to do it.
They better.
Because,
They better do it.
I mean,
because what if they left one of them in there and they didn't do it? And so that changes everything, literally everything. Oh, that would be devastating.
What I would really like, what I would want them to do, I mean, another of the House of the Dragon, of course. One that I really want them to do is go back to Bran the Builder and really discuss that whole how the White Walkers came to be.
Right.
Because that's way back with Bran the Builder.
You know, I want to see that. I want to see whatever this is that they have planned for the Jon Snow next adventure. Just because it's Jon Snow and I want to see that. I want to see spin-offs. Like I want to know oh my goodness. Why am I like I'm drawing a blank? Missandei and my Unsullied. I want to know why. I want to know what their life together would have looked like.
Well, see, I don't want to see any. My big thing is I want to see everything before, especially the way they did House of the Dragon, because season 8 left such a bad taste for me. Because Bran should never have been king. There's no point for him to be king, and he's a wall that can see everything use pigeons or ravens to see everything across the world, but can't find a giant dragon flying around. There was no point of Bran. I hated Bran. Tyrion should have.
So I can't hate him though. But I get your point. But like I can't hate him because he saw everything, and it's like that's such a responsibility to like be able to see it and then know. Wait, but if he had acted, and you know, like butterfly effect, that's a thing. So like if he acts, then it changes, and everything changes. So that's what I want to see. Let's do a what if for Game of Thrones.
That would have been better because, again, I thought Bran should have stayed where the three-eyed raven should have been, where he was, and just stayed there. And then he could have talked through the trees to see everything. And there was no point of Arya learning the faceless god because she never really used that. And then on top of that, I hated that Arya kills the king. The king.
Yeah.
How did she kill the king?
You know what I want to see is the faceless. What is it? The mini gods, like the faceless gods. Like I want to see that show up in House of the Dragon because that's where it should be.
Yes.
So that is like I should have seen that already. I want to see who's going to reveal themselves to be one of them. And so maybe I don't know. But I really like House of the Dragon when she gets the message that she should not have received the message from Viserys as he is passing. When he tells her, you know, about the story, and she's like, "You mean me and my son? Oh my God, we're gonna be king and queen! It's great!" Ah, and it's like you are the classic example of somebody who is stealing somebody else's gift because you are misinterpreting the word. Like, go out and like get out of that.
And the fact that everybody in her family laughed at her, told her it's not true, and she was like, "No, it's really. That's what happened. That's real. It's us."
He really wanted me to be. He wanted me to be queen, and Aegon is Aegon, and it's Aegon, and it's like, yo, logically, this was your husband.
Yeah.
You know your son. Why would he want that? Like, why would he want that? But Amon, I can't wait to see him go down. Man, he's getting ready to go nuts in this whole thing, and I cannot wait for him and Damon to face off. They are my two favorite characters, hands down, besides the entire family that should be my favorite characters.
Well, you heard that the directors are still trying to figure out why everybody really loves some Damon.
I like Damon. I do. And I like the character who plays him too. But I don't love him.
Yeah.
No.
Evidently, there are a bunch of people out
there
there
are people going nuts because he's bad boy sexy. But I'm not like that's not the thing that gets me. It's the genius that gets me. And so
like the bad boy
I haven't seen one of them yet. Like you haven't seen the geniuses in this. Like there were multiple geniuses in Game of Thrones, but like here it's like everybody is who they say they are, and they're not like playing the game at all. And so I don't know if that's because of where it is in time, or
I think that's
how history progresses or whatever,
Well, I think that's because of Viserys and where we are in this section of time.
Well, yeah.
Because Viserys didn't really play the game. He didn't understand the game. And he just came in, okay, well, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. He almost played the game because remember, the Hand wanted to play the game. The whole
the Hand been playing that game from his hand the whole time. I wanted him to get cut when he was sitting on that throne because he has no business on it. And so that's a thing. He should have gotten cut, and they should have showed that because he had no business on it. Her too. But they were just chilling on that throne, like it was just like comfortable and everything, and it's like that is not your rightful place. Get up.
I did love that head getting chopped in half.
I love the reason the head got chopped because he was like,
and
like
the joke
that is why women love him. So let's just be clear: if we're gonna love Damon, like that's why. Like you come and you stand up for me and my children. Like I don't have no children, but if I did, you are the man who does that. Like, yep, I'm here for you all day long. Like the quickness that he did it in, it was like, I'll have your tongue for that.
Yep.
It's like, no.
I love the fact that well, he can keep his tongue.
Right. Like I got the head, you can have the tongue. Thanks. But I love that because it showed kind of how their brotherhood was. They have just like a really good relationship, even though it's terrible. Like you're still brothers, and they still recognize that. And so that scene wasn't supposed to be that way, but they made it that way, and it worked out really, really well. They played it really good. They should have never told anybody that it wasn't supposed to be that way because we would have never known. But when that head came off, I was like, that's like really great TV. It's sliced off. The whole head just slithered off of, and then like the next scene where they're putting it back on. I was done. Oh my god, I was cracking up.
It sounds gruesome, but fun.
A great show. That's why I love this show. I mean, I don't know if you're watching Andor yet. So Andor is actually told it doesn't feel like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't watch that. Nope.
It feels like it's their Game of Thrones version of Star Wars. That's what Andor feels like. If you liked Rogue One, then Andor is probably the best thing since sliced bread. Because it's told in that same slow pace. It's giving credence and giving each character their ability to breathe. Your character development. Because that's one thing I love about House of the Dragon is each character is truly given their spotlight. And you can grow with that character from Aegon to Daemon to Viserys to I mean, every main character is given that time to breathe. And that's what I hated about the last bit of Game of Thrones. It was like, hey, we're jumping from this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy to this guy. Hey, this guy, this guy. I don't need to see that.
Well, they had to get it all in there.
And or you might like if since you like that slow paced storytelling.
No, I won't, because it's Star Wars.
Okay.
I feel like I'm left out of that whole thing because I don't tap in. I saw the feet thing. I get it. That is what I noticed. And I see why everybody's going nuts about it. I think that that's funny.
And you see, it's fitting for that character. It is fitting. That is, I never thought that somebody would get me more than Littlefinger, but that dude.
I love Littlefinger.
So
I do love Littlefinger up until I didn't, right? Like he was that guy. But I loved his genius because he played the behind the scenes so well. He's an orchestrator. He orchestrated whatever he wanted and he just did it. And so I loved him and then I didn't. And then I did, and it's like, and then you saved Jon Snow, so I gotta love you. And then it was like, and then I hate you again. So yeah.
So Nicole, what is it about Star Trek that you don't like? Like I said, I was a Trekkie, but I also had a friend that before he passed not that long ago was one of the original and few early Black characters in Star Trek, that being Garland
Let's
Thompson.
be clear, Mark. I love Star Trek. I do not love Star Wars.
Okay.
So those are different.
Yeah, they are
I am
different.
a Trekkie diehard,
Okay.
but I'm not a fan of Star Wars.
What is it about Star Wars that you don't like? And I'm more of a Trekkie than a Star Wars person.
What do I not like about Star Wars? So I just never that was never something that I did. I tried really, really hard. I am a movie buff. So for me not to watch something is very rare. But I don't like it. And so I have tried, I even tried as an adult to go back and watch, like when the prequels came out. I tried to go back. I'm like, okay, now is my chance. I can catch up to everybody else and like I can be a part of this because I feel like I've been left out my whole life, but I just don't. That's all. It doesn't resonate with me for whatever reason. I don't feel it. It's not a story that I like. I don't know. I just don't.
That's why I would recommend, if you're going to try anything Star Wars, you are very similar to the story style that I like. Because, like, did you watch Dune? Dune.
Oh, I'm like, dude, like literally, dude, where's my car shows up in my head. I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, the remake of Doom that they did on HBO.
I played Doom, but I didn't watch Doom. No.
So Dune is another one that I think that you like because of the slow.
You're saying Dune, D-U-N-E, like
sand like a sand dune.
Okay. Yep. No. I don't
Same
think
thing. So it's a very good, very slow paced storytelling. It's very. I mean, they do a lot of world building, so it's really cool. The Expanse. Did you see that one?
A little bit. I tapped in and out on Expanse.
Which season?
Like I don't know how many there are. Let me look at that. I have to see the visuals so I can see it. Expanse cast.
Because there are 5 seasons of The Expanse.
I want to say it was like 2 or 3.
Because like the first season is very, very slow. And it talks about mainly political and connections and all the other stuff. And then it breaks out. The Expanse is phenomenal. It's what Star Trek I had hoped would change to. Because Star Trek, I love Star Trek, but the problem that I have with Star Trek is kind of the problem that I have with a lot of the spin-offs of Star Wars. A lot of the spin-offs of Star Wars for me feel like a toy commercial. it doesn't have the story that I'm looking for. That's why I like Rogue One. Tell me a story. Tell me something new. The Star Wars stuff that I really enjoyed. Some of the Clone Wars stuff was great. Well, Clone Wars actually was one of the best. The Star Wars Visions was phenomenal because I love my anime stuff. And that's what Star Wars Visions was, is they took some anime directors and said, play in the Star Wars universe, and they created shorts. Well, some were 12 minutes and others were 24 minutes, but they were really good shorts, and they did a great job with one. The very first one was basically an old samurai tale. And it was so well done. But again, a lot of the Star Wars, like the 1, 2, and 3 felt like a long toy commercial and not really telling me a story that I wanted to hear about. Rogue One told me a story that was separate, and it didn't have all the same characters. It didn't have, matter of fact, none of the droids that you see in Star Wars pop up in Rogue One, because it tells you a story of, hey, look, this is a whole nother world than you're used to on, say, for instance, Tatooine, where Luke Skywalker was. So these individuals on this world don't build the same style as this world does. And that's what I loved about it, is that it was, hey, look, this is a separate world. It's a whole separate culture. Now you got to learn this culture. And that's what I like about Andor, is the fact that they kept with that same mindset as, hey, this is a whole separate world. Let's talk about the ins and outs of the actual how the inner workings of the individuals that were stormtroopers or whatever, and they're not really stormtroopers, but they're dressed in different outfits. I mean, just the inner workings of the business side. It's just neat. It's really neat. So,
everything. I didn't realize.
But yeah, Star Trek. I love me some Star Trek too. But again, The Expanse. I love how The Expanse really just began to run off. Oh, totally good story.
It goes out. Hey, Nicole, since you're a movie buff, and I was actually just looking up a movie outside of the space realm, but it's a movie that I didn't realize it was as old as it is and everything. But did you ever see the movie? Because it was scarier than I thought it would be, and I'm not a big horror fan. But did you ever see the movie Ganji and Hess?
Ganji and Hess.
It's an experimental. No. It's a horror flick that Bill Gunn did back in '73, but it is very scary. It's actually, I think, set in like the Caribbean island, if I remember correctly. But it's,
how do you even spell that so I can look it up?
Ganga, like I think that's the spelling for the cannabis, and Hess is the other character, Hess.
Oh, okay. No.
And it's about a brother who becomes a vampire.
Blackula?
This is before Blackula.
No, Blackula. I was on the one with isn't it Eddie Murphy?
Yep. What's that one?
Yeah, but both of those were
Vampire in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This was before then. No. And it has some intense horror scenes. I remember that from when we showed it at the Haytest Center. And I think that actually might have been under your
you know what? I might have seen this.
Ganji and Hess.
Because it's very intense. Because I think we showed it under your aunt's direction when she was director of Jatovi, and I want to say that there were some people that were a little bit taken back because it definitely has some graphic scenes.
I mean, I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, Bill was not playing in that particular version. And I'm still upset at you, Jatovi, because Nicole just said that, she doesn't like the bad boys, and we know that that's your entire family is the whole bad boy kind of vibe and all of that. So I don't know why you would think that this bad boy thing is popular, but apparently it's very popular among different people, because I have heard that the bad boys is where folks are going these days.
The bad boys?
Yeah, the gangsters. Bad boys, gangsters, whatever you want to call them.
I don't know. Is Damon's a gangster? No. Yeah, there's different kinds of bad boys. It depends. Most of the time, no, not for me. But you never know.
No,
Did you see Werewolf by Night?
Werewolf by Night.
Werewolf by Night. Because
It's the new one that
Oh, it's new. No.
yeah. That one just came out. That's a Disney Plus one, actually.
No, it's called Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, it's so it's a comic book in the Marvel series. But this is setting up, hopefully the Midnight Suns with Wolverine and Ghost Rider and all the other guys. But this one was Werewolf by Night was a very fun show. It was pretty good. Paid homage to a lot of the old movies or old horror movies. Yep. Did you watch the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power?
I tried. Yeah, I watched it. I tried. I watched most of it. I don't think I watched the last episode, because I tried. There's that's the only thing that stands out to me as a scene is when she realizes, or they realize she's blind and she's on the horse and they're leading her and she's like, keep going. They won't ever. Just
I mean, I would say that it is the best Lord of the Rings thing that we've had in a while.
Well, I mean, because there haven't been any.
Well, I mean,
yeah, it is.
Like the Hobbit, I couldn't stand the Hobbit stuff.
I don't like the Hobbit.
It was put together, yeah, but this was the best Lord of the Rings thing. The ending, the final episode was okay.
Yeah.
But it's the best Lord of the Rings thing. Outside of that.
This is up my alley too. And so there's fairies and there's good and bad, but I think even from the very beginning, that first scene when her brother dies,
yeah.
And she's saying her last words to him as he's passing away, that just turned me off. The whole way that it was, that whole scene, I don't know what it was, but that set the tone for everything else, and I was just I'm not gonna like this, and I didn't.
So they set you up with sappiness, and you weren't going for the sappiness from that point over.
I don't think it was a sappiness thing. It was just something about this. I just didn't. I wasn't feeling it.
I mean, the acting wasn't the greatest. And the lines were a little hokey.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, that's Lord of the Rings, though.
There's charisma that's missing. It can be bad. I'm cool with having B, C, D movies. I'll watch those all day long. But this just didn't. There was nothing to make me actually want to watch it. So I didn't really. I just let it play in the background so that I could have the next episode ready. But I don't remember anything about it. I mean, I saw the fire. The little kids, the little elven kids. I think they were elves. They were or dwarves or something. I think they were elves.
Oh,
they were, huh?
The hobbits.
Probably, yeah. That is what they are. Yes.
Elves, hobbits, dwarfs. It's all the same thing.
They I wasn't connected to this in any kind of way, and it just didn't sit well with me, which it should have. And I kept being mad because I'm like, okay, let me go back and watch this one, and this is when I'll start liking it. And it just didn't happen. I forced myself through them, but it never happened. So, oh well.
Yeah, that's good.
See, that's why you got to watch your anime stuff.
I don't know about that, but there's other TV too. I don't know. It's getting cold, and so to me, it's it's time to get a good vampire series. Vampire Diaries is gone, True Blood is gone. I need like a series that gives me either. I need something like that, and there's nothing.
Isn't
That's
there one
not.
coming out? I
I
thought
don't
there was
know.
a
Is it on TV?
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, that's coming out.
Oh, right. I don't have AMC, and so that's the thing. Is
Oh,
it's like
it's only
I
coming
have
to
to
AMC.
get
Oh, yeah.
AMC, and then we'll see.
I mean,
don't
what
know.
dreams? Not what dreams, but what we do in the shadows.
But What Dreams May Come is a good movie, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Right,
That's what you're heading at. That movie, I cried the first time I watched that movie. That is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, there's What We Do in the Shadows, though. You can watch that again.
What We Do in the Shadows. That is newer.
You didn't see What We Do in the Shadows?
No, I think I saw What We Do in the Shadows.
The
I just
comedy?
can't place the thingy.
You said that.
It's the comedy where it's basically a reality
No.
show with vampires.
Oh no, I skipped that. You're right. I did. Yeah. I started watching it and was like, nope.
Wait a minute.
It's just a dumb show, Mark.
I was
It's
gonna say it
hilarious.
sounded dumb. So it's a reality. It's a game show with vampires.
Well, no, it's a reality show. So there's a TV crew following these vampires. They're true idiots.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mm-mm.
So I stumbled across. I was getting something to eat yesterday, and they were having something on cable, and it was very unholy, but it had holy in the title. But it was like one of those newer horror type series. But it was, and I know holy's in the title. I'm trying to think of what it's called. It's like, but I know it's on cable.
Oh wait, speaking of vampires, you didn't watch Castlevania?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I think there's another season I haven't watched, but I did watch the first one.
Oh, only the first season?
Probably, yeah.
See,
It might have been the first two, but I know
Yeah.
I haven't watched all of it. So yeah, I did watch the first couple.
It progressively gets better. I mean, the first season was a
I
little.
liked it.
No,
Did
trust
like
me, it gets better. Because that third season's great.
Is it? Like I was happy that I watched that, and I'm just like this is actually really good. So I'll go back and watch that. I hadn't thought about that in a while. Yeah.
Did you watch any of the Love, Death, and Robots?
Yes. And so Love, Death, and Robots. I was talking about this the other day and I didn't realize I was talking about it. And somebody told me, they're like, yeah, you're talking about Love, Death, and Robots. I'm like, oh yeah. It's the one where she has the cleaning, like the cleaning robot, and it tries to kill her.
Yeah.
That shit was hilarious. I was so happy. I was dying laughing because and then like we had this whole hey, welcome back. We had this whole conversation about it on Clubhouse because we were talking about the little Roombas and how they are basically creating a map of your house, and you don't like that could actually be a security breach for you, depending on what you have in your house. And we were talking about that. And I said, there's a movie somewhere that I saw, and this lady was actually trying to fight off her robot.
No,
I was dying. I was so
no, there was an old TV show that literally was that. It was an old science fiction novel. I think it was a book, and then it became a movie where literally it wasn't so much the robot, but the house literally took over, and this probably one of them trigger warning kind of things, basically almost kind of harassed the woman that was the only person in the house, but literally the house took over through all the mechanics. And this was like an older movie, like maybe
there is an old movie like that.
There's a Netflix movie that's similar to that.
But there's an old movie. This
Robots.
this was like in the 70s, and literally they just took over the house.
What did you say?
Oh, there's this cartoon. It's this little mini short. It's called Love, Death, Robots.
Yeah, that's what we're talking
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. There's
I love
a
the two
movie,
robots.
though.
The three robots on that vacation. They kill me.
And by the way, the movie that I was trying to remember is called Holy Family, and apparently it's a Spanish-based thriller and all of that. But when I stumbled across it at the, it was actually one of our Durham stores that sell seafood, and I was giving a bite, and they had it on, and I was going like, "This has got some very unholy scenes," because it was definitely because I didn't realize what I had stumbled across. But it was literally a horror movie that got picked up by one of the streaming services, so it apparently is doing well. But it looks like it's done pretty much, if not all, predominantly Spanish cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about The Entity, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So you were not talking about that.
This is the other one that was. This is the one on Netflix where the robots take over the home. Oh, take over a bigger home called
Is
Big
that
Bug.
new?
It came out this year, if I remember. But yeah,
I don't remember
all
seeing
it,
that.
Oh yeah.
so yeah, it's basically the robots end up controlling the home because of a glitch, and end up trying to kill everybody.
Ew.
Well, we're heading that way, so
Yeah.
What's sorry, what's cute? That was weird. What's cute is that my brother sent me a TikTok like earlier, like before I hopped on just now. And it was like, oh, we have to get a dog to protect our home. And there's this Roomba running in the background, and the dog's like humping air. He's just like la, 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 la. But like the robot was like, I'm like, is he going after the Roomba? Like it was so weird.
So I wonder if that happens if the Roomba just goes around the dog and like marks its place there, or if it stops and waits.
Like I'm like, whoa, like I will never look at a Roomba the same way again.
One of my favorite episodes of Love, Death, and Robots is I think it's like episode 3, when she's controlling the beast, where they have that the individual controlling the kaiju, and they're having a fight and they're having a battle. That one is one of my favorite ones. Just because she was unreal. She was a beast. But yeah, that's Big Bug.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
movies are just interesting in general. Like I said, we've been showing just because I love public domain, so I've been showing some movies from the 40s and the 50s, and I stumbled across one that was quite interesting. I might have mentioned it last week, but I don't think I did because I just recently started showing it. But if you ever seen Tales of Terror, there is a movie called Test Flight, and what Test Flight is about a super millionaire that decides that he wants to invest money to go into outer space and all along those lines. And I'm going like, wait a minute, that sounds like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. And this particular movie was made in October, like October 21st is when it was released, of 1951. So like I said, it's talking about some serious foreboding and all of that. But yeah, it was it was released in 51, so it was probably written in like 48 or 47.
Wow.
We've been here in somebody's mind for a very long time.
Exactly.
Did you watch Arcane?
On Netflix? Let me see.
Arcane was phenomenal.
No.
Arcane was probably one of the best written shows. The way the story was told. The trailer was phenomenal. Well, the actual, like I said, it was, in terms of a Joker style character, Arcane actually has the best Joker written for TV. Just because her actions, the way that she is, the story behind her. Yeah, Arcane, it's really, really good. Highly recommend that show.
Hey, Nicole and Kara, while I'm thinking about it, since we're still up at this hour and everything, we've been doing some reruns and remakes of shows, and I think we brought up on another show because I heard that there's a remake coming up of there's actually gonna be a reality show. Speaking of reality shows, it's gonna be a reality show of the Love Boat. I think it's already come out or it's about to come out. But I was wondering, from the science fiction space and even this kind of sci-fi fantasy world that we're talking about, do you think that it would be possible, and if so, should they make a remake of, say, Andromeda's Strain or Logan's Run? Because actually, I don't remember whether I watched Andromeda's Strain, but I do remember watching Logan's Run and loving that. But then I'm going like, some of this stuff is too much similar to what's already going on, so I don't know that it would be successful. And that goes for you too, Jadobi. But what do you think? Could we get away with a remade version of Andromeda's Strain or Logan's Run?
They're remaking Blade Runner. They've already made Quantum Leap. So hey, throw the others in there too.
I'm sick of them remaking our stuff.
Me
Our
too.
stuff is classics, and they need to leave it alone. And so that's the way I feel about it. They're never great. Some of them are good, but very rarely. And so I am. I don't know. I don't want them to. No.
I vaguely remember Logan's Run because it is, but Andromeda's Train, right?
Strain. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm showing my 80s babiness. I don't know that one.
No, that's not it. For the 80s baby too. So but I don't remember.
Well, my apologies. I'm showing I don't know that one. Well, what's the title? What's the title? Like, how do you spell it?
Andromeda Strain. It's a 71, so
Yeah, 1971.
we're good if we don't know this, and
Yes,
that's fine.
yes.
I just happen to, I've seen it. I just don't like. I feel that way about all of them, though. Like, it doesn't matter which one it is. I don't want them to remake our stuff because these are like our childhood treasures, and they're ruining them. Bit by bit, they're redoing them and making them nowified. Like, I do, however, like, not necessarily sci-fi, but Dial M for Murder is one of my favorite like older movies, and so they did remake this probably early 2000s.
Yeah.
But I want somebody to make it better, so they need to remake it because the one that was done was not done well.
That's
so
what
I want to see that.
I mean,
and that's the way I feel about Logan's Run. I mean, even though Logan's Run got some honors and everything, I didn't think that Logan's Run, and it was also a TV series, was all of that great, either as a TV series or as a movie. But I think that is one of those that could be improved. I agree with you on Andromeda's Strain. That's kind of like a classic and everything, as I recall. It's been a minute since I've seen that. But Logan's Run was kind of campy.
You know what I want to see also, because it's relevant now. So Strange Days came out.
okay.
And that was about like kind of having overkill on VR and what that can do to you. And so I think that now is the perfect time to remake that and put that out into the world and just let the world sit with it for a minute. But I want the original characters in there. So like that's
You want Angela Bassett back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So now I know why I didn't know of Andromeda Strain. It's because it is very sci-fi, and I hate to say it. I'm real picky with my sci-fi. I never really grew up with sci-fi a lot. It was so I just, I'm taking an L on that one. I have to watch it now because of you guys, because of y'all. I'm like, oh, I want to learn this thing called sci-fi because I didn't grow up with it too much. So it is a whole other weird human being or a whole other entity. But I know like random movies like Victor, Victoria. Like, of course, I know a movie about a woman pretending to be a guy, pretending to be a woman, pretending to be a guy. Like, of course, that's my life. So, but like sci-fi, like, oh, this is very interesting. So I have to check it out.
I will
Sorry,
say,
I'm like, whoa, okay.
what I don't want them to do is remake The Fifth Element.
No,
They
please
Oh
don't.
cannot
no,
remake
that
The Fifth
can't be
Element.
remade ever.
Ever. Like, absolutely not.
That was a masterpiece.
Corbin Dallas. Multipass.
It's a song for me. It's a song for me. Like, that is everything.
I just love this tagline that they got on what is this IMDb for Logan's Run, because that was supposed to be the one that was set in the future, and youth was supposed to be in the charge and all in that space. And it's also supposed to be very what's the word when it's very I don't want to say narcissistic in some ways and everything, and it's definitely very patriarchal because a lot of the way they were treating women was not all that great, and it did star Farrah Fawcett in that space. But the little tagline that they have on IMDb is a police officer in the future uncovers the deadly secret behind a society that worships youth. So that's what they're saying it was all about. Is, you know, if you're a little bit older, you weren't going to be loved, and it was very misogynistic. That was the word I was looking for in some of the ways that I remembered, and all in that space. So they're going to improve it. They got to get a little bit more of a more universal message.
I mean, Demolition Man was like that too, though.
Yes,
Demolition Man was awesome. We watched that a few weeks ago, matter of fact. Man, yeah, that is one of those movies where it's like, you know, you can go up to somebody who's a fan of things and just say 3 seashells and they know exactly what you're talking about. Be well. So it's like it's the movie. And you know, say what you want to about Wesley Snipes, like he played his butt off in that movie. And
he did a phenomenal job.
Huh?
Did
He
you
did
watch?
a phenomenal. I love actually one of Wesley Snipes' best acting jobs, even better than that one, was the show he did just recently with Kevin Hart.
Okay, cool. I like Kevin Hart.
What's it called?
The Netflix one?
Yeah, is it True Stories or True?
It was something. Yeah. It was
True
interesting.
story.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Did you?
I
did
can't
a
say
good
that's
job.
one of his best because he's got, you know, when you go
He's
back
got
to
a heap
the
of good ones.
catalog, there's some
the
stuff
dude is-
there. Oh man. New Jack City.
I like New Jack City.
When
Oh,
he
New Jack
plays
City was a show.
Mellow. Yeah.
Your pretty mother.
That was a classic. Did you all ever see Soylent Green? Now that's a scary movie where we become food items.
Which one?
Soylent Green.
It sounds familiar.
It's a science fiction movie where there is people are finding nutrition, and they are getting nutrition through this mysterious subject, and toward the end we find out what the subject is, and all along those lines.
Is it People?
You got it.
I just put the
never
name
did.
of the movie in chat. Oh,
And I forgot that Charlton Heston was in a science fiction movie. Maybe that's because I didn't see the Omega Man.
Omega Man.
Yeah, apparently it's the biological war has decimated life on Earth. Los Angeles is a windswept ghost town where Robert Neville tools his convertible through sunlit streets, foraging for supplies, is what the Omega Man is. And I'm thinking that Robert Neville character is the character that Charlton Heston is playing.
Okay. Mark, did you see Idiocracy?
Of course.
Yes.
You did say Mark. Let me be quiet.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I heard about Idiocracy. That is correct.
Oh, you didn't see it, Mark. You got to see
Mark,
Idiocracy.
you have to just log off and go watch TV.
Yes, shows that I have to see that I have not seen, because of what I've been told about them because of the lovely Nicole. One is the Idiocracy and the other is Black Mirror, and I've yet to see either one of those two.
Both great, phenomenal. Idiocracy is what we're living in.
We're heading there.
And that's what she said Black Mirror was as well.
President Camacho.
Oh my god.
That's my dude.
Idiocracy is sad. Idiocracy is the movie that like everybody should watch so that we can fix this now.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like we don't want that.
I mean, Herschel Walker is President Camacho.
Okay, I have to watch this movie.
This
Which one?
The scary thing is, I'm sorry, I just didn't realize that I was looking up the other one that I had mentioned to y'all, but it's actually set in the year 2022 because the movie it says in the year 2022, people are still the same. They'll do anything to get what they need, and they need Soylent Green. So apparently, you have to go and get this rare.
I thought you were talking about
That's scary though. That they're like, that it's this year.
Yeah, it was set because the tagline is a nightmarish futuristic fantasy about the controlling power of big corporation and an innocent cop who stumbles on the truth. We got that friendly cop and all of that. And yeah, this set in 2022. And I think the movie came out in I want to say it was the mid 70s.
Did I see this
Sounds
movie?
right. Wow.
Yeah, but Mark, you got to watch Idiocracy though.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, you do.
Because that movie, oh my gosh.
That's what
Kara, you saw the
oh
movie,
my
didn't
gosh.
You haven't seen? Oh.
I watch TV less than Mark does.
Oh wow. Yeah.
It is classic. Classic.
Is that it?
Instead, read the
That's the trailer.
Wikipedia description though.
Hibernation experiment. As you know, this is highly classified. However, we believe humans can be stored indefinitely.
However, the trial run was prone to human error.
See you in a year.
And Joe slept slightly longer than expected. Half a millennium, to be exact. From Mike Judge, creator of Office Space and Beavis and Butthead. If you were the smartest person in the world,
This was in your mouth. This one goes in your butt. Hang on a second. This one goes in your mouth.
you're stuck with the dumbest people in history.
If you have one bucket that holds 2 gallons and another bucket that holds 5 gallons, how many buckets do you have?
2? What would you do?
Excuse me. I'm actually supposed to be getting out of prison. You're in the wrong line. I'm the smartest guy in the world? Says who?
IQ test you took in prison. You got the highest score in history.
Even smarter than President Camacho.
In the year 2505, we got this guy. He's gonna fix everything. So you smart. The ordinary will be considered extraordinary. That's your name.
You're the smartest guy in the world. You're pretty dumb sometimes.
It is so stupid.
It is required watching.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yeah, that's
Can't
that's
wait.
one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
It is just so bad.
Just
President Camacho.
Oh wow.
It'll make you want to go live on your own private island.
Yes.
Like, immediately.
Oh wow.
Plants need water. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, good catch that one.
All right, Mark. So you got Black Mirror.
And Idiocracy.
You're gonna skip the first episode, and then you're gonna watch the rest of them.
Of
Black
Black Mirror.
Mirror?
Yes.
No, you got to watch the first one because
No,
What?
I wouldn't put anybody through that.
No. Like what do you choose? What do choose? How do you choose?
You know, everybody's
mean-
got to go sometime. So she would have just had to, like, I don't think that.
There's a
I mean, you got a
recommendation
point.
in
You got-
Nicole. I will do
make another one.
those 2 on, and then I'll backtrack to 1 if I feel bold enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
If
first
you-
episode's tough though. That first
Yeah,
episode.
get through the 3rd season, and then you can decide to go back to season 1 and watch the first episode. But they're all different, and they all have some form of technology that is used in a futuristic way that goes wrong. Some kind
And
of
they put you in a dilemma, and you have to decide which. Both choices are bad. What can you live with?
that.
There's actually in one of the episodes. Matter of fact, a couple of episodes. There's one of the episodes. The social. Well, I don't want to give it away. Well, actually, no, it doesn't give anything away by saying
The
it.
likes and the
the
that
social
one.
currency
Mhm.
that's being used.
Yeah.
Today, there's
Mhm.
I think it's either China or Japan that's actually using that, where you have a social currency.
That one, and then episode 2 that was of season 1. I forget 16 million credits. That one, where they're kind of like in that, and they have like the American Idol type of thing.
Yes,
That
yes.
one is definitely like you can see the components of that pulling together as we're talking about the metaverse. And you see things like move to earn actually becoming a thing. So it's happening. And the movies have been telling us stuff for a long time.
Movies and
people
TV
who create
series.
movies, like, it's been here and we just haven't been paying attention. So in saying that, you have to go back and oh my gosh, I keep forgetting the name of this movie. Dang it. Enemy of the State.
I know
You have to
Enemy
go
of
back
the
and
State.
watch that
Yeah.
because that told us everything we should have avoided and we didn't. And so here we are.
But how much did X-Files tell us that we didn't pay any attention to? Because
Well.
X-Files told us just about everything.
That too.
I mean, the cool thing about it, well, actually, if you going on the X-Files idea, which, of course there's alien life out there. It's crazy not to think that, okay, these stars, there's nothing around it. But it takes, for example, if a star or a planet that is habitable is like a billion light years away or a million light years away, and it takes the light that far to get here. Once that light travels that million years, that actual planet is a million years past, right?
Mm.
So we're looking at the past, a million years in the past of that planet. So we could actually have tons of planets out there that are inhabited by, tons of different creatures, but we're looking at the past of the planet. So if you think about, 40 million years, 20 million years ago, how this planet looked, and that's what somebody 20 million years is looking at.
So I'm about to get philosophical here and just kind of throw it at you and everything because it's night, because it's midnight, and why not be philosophical and all along those lines? So if I'm hearing you correctly, that if you want to believe, and I'm not saying everybody has to believe, but if you want to believe in this notion of a middle ground universe, which is what some religions believe in everything, that middle ground universe could be the other planet if there is an actual heaven and everything. So it might be here on Earth, then we go to the other place, and then you get to go to heaven if you believe in that middle ground kind of concept.
You'd have to die at this. Are you saying if you die at this planet, you go to a middle ground, which is purgatory, and then
or you go to another planet?
I don't know. It depends. Where does consciousness go if you die?
Exactly. That's my point. So it could be that you go and then you start back on another planet. It's kind of that ulterior universe kind of theory that if you had your one consciousness here, maybe the other consciousness is in that other planet. Then I've also heard the dual consciousness, that you could be here and your doppelganger might be the opposite of you on the other planet.
if you have infinite universes like Rick and Morty always talk about,
I feel like cats are in different alternate universes at the same time.
Wait a minute. So the one cat is here, but they're in two different worlds.
There's like a million cats that are the same cat.
Here's something really crazy. Is the universe spherical?
But do you think it's flat, like the other flat earthers?
No, I mean, is it a cube? Is there an end to the universe?
Oh, the universe, not the planet.
Yeah, the planet. Yeah. We aren't living on a plate. Those crazy people. But think about it. Is there, there's a point where you can't view it anymore. So that point is going to be a sphere, of course. But does it expand past that? I mean, it would have to. But then if the universe is a sphere and there's an end to it.
But I mean, by that logic, if we're a billion years apart, and if there is no, I guess the question you would have to ask, which is a very philosophical one, is where does time end if we are a billion light years away from the current place that we're in right now? So we're in 2022, and the other folks are in a billion 2022. Is there like another space that's like, a trillion 2022? Where does the time continuum end? I guess is the question. And I don't have the answer to that one.
And is there really a sphere? Like, is that a thing?
Right.
Because like the universe, if it is forever expanding, that would bring in your time. Where does time stop and where does time begin?
Here's the other thing, right? So like it's a universe, right? So it's one universe, right? So one verse, one infinite, one beyond. But what about the infiniverse?
And we know evidently time speeds up and slows down supposedly near black holes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that's a theory that's out there, then what exactly is a black hole? Is that the end?
Or the beginning?
Or the beginning.
And then on top of that, if the universe were like a sphere, and if you think about how if you take a bubble, you look at bubbles and those little blank areas on that sphere, is that what a black hole is?
Or is it a trap door?
Not the trap
to
door.
go to the next universe.
Yeah, it's a portal. Entryway.
The portal into the next world. And you did have to mention bubbles because that made me automatically think of that lovely animal that Michael Jackson had.
There was a.
I thought that would get the cold.
Back to monkeys. So there was actually a science. These are some of the fun science things that I start looking at, because there is a black hole and there's a such thing as a white hole. The white hole technically is like it infinitely, spits light out, right? If that's supposedly what a white hole is, but
so the white hole is spitting light out, and the black hole is draining the light in.
Exactly. So the analogy or the setup that they used was, for example, if you look at your sink, the white hole would be the spigot spitting out the water. Right. The black hole would be that drain. If it's right over top, there's no splashback.
Yeah.
So a black hole would swallow a white hole easily, or like the sun, exactly. Just spit it in. But a black hole itself really isn't a hole; it's a sphere.
Or is it?
Because supposedly it's a sphere that's condensed, everything into it. So it supposedly tears everything apart and puts it on the inside because nothing can escape it. But then you have the wormhole stuff. It's just, space is fascinating.
Space is very fascinating. And to come back to Kara's earlier conversation about those multiple cats and everything, you do realize that at the same time that we're having this conversation, that since I am somewhat of a pet and animal and nature empath, I am sure that the trees and the animals around us are having this same conversation, and they're wondering what the hell are we talking about and why we're bothering to talk about them in the first place, because they're having the same conversation, but we just don't know it because we don't speak tree.
If the human walks down the street and the human hits a pole, does the human fall or doesn't make a noise?
Exactly. Exactly. That is what the tree was saying.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
You know, and that's like the black cats. You know, when you were going and running away from them, they're sitting there running away from you, going like, "There's those daggone humans. We got to go in the opposite direction."
Well, that's all right with me. We can go in the opposite direction. I'm actually deathly allergic to cats. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh.
Like, literally, I've been told that I just need to stay my distance for the rest of my life, just to be safe, because it is supposed to be that bad. So, I do.
Oh, wow.
But, you know, but I would still stay away from black cats, though. Is your cat a black cat?
No, she's a tortie tabby, so she's like 20 different shades of brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's still evil though. Like tortie tabbies are supposed to be crazy. Like they're just bred to be crazy, and they all seem to be female. So I don't know how that happens. Like our cats also, or tortie tabbies also starfishes. They just produce their own female tortie tabbies. Nobody knows.
It is a mystery. So, Nicole, is that all cats, or is it like, because you did have that virtual version of a Bengal tiger, which is a member of the cat family, or is it just like the pet cats, the domestic
I
cats?
like to think that I just stay away from them all. And so
You're not going to be
you never
petting
know
a
how
lion anytime soon.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm not. No. But I do enjoy. That is another use case. Let's just turn this right back around. That is another use case for the metaverse and for AR technology, to get you to be able to be near things that you can't in real life because things like allergies. And so I know that pretty well. I can go in forests in virtual spaces, and I can't do that in reality without being medicated. So that's actually a thing that it's helpful. It really is.
Wow.
So
Mm.
It makes sense. And there's things that you can't do or that are not able to be done in real life, whether that's what you just said, allergies or fears or whatever. You can always conquer those in the metaverse and virtual space. You don't really have to conquer them because you just can handle them in that part of life, and they can be there in that part of life and not directly impact you the way they would in real life.
yeah, and man, you just said something, but it's late. I'm tired. I'm gonna head out. I was getting ready to reply. I totally forgot what it was. I'm tired today, man. It's been one. Guys, I'm gonna head out here.
Yeah.
What are you getting ready to play though? I want to see what you're gonna play.
I'll probably go ahead and start to try and play a little bit of Plague Tale, but I mean it is we're coming up closer on to 12:30 in the middle of the night.
You're an hour overdue.
Yeah. I think we're all in that loopy stage talking about different random things.
That's what happens in the Game of Gems.
I mean, how deep does the ocean go? Is there water up under the bottom of the ocean?
That's a whole nother conversation because we've not figured out the depths of the ocean. Somewhere down there is Atlantis.
What happens?
Speaking of, have you guys seen
a leak?
What happens? What'd you say, Nicole?
The ocean springs a leak on the bottom of the ocean floor. Like, what happens if there's a crack? We know that, right? Like, because there's volcanoes, but like you said, is there water underneath that? Like, what happens?
There are have you seen the images where there's a dense salt ponds at the bottom of the ocean?
I mean,
That's cool.
Isn't there a whole planet down there that they haven't found yet? Because Atlantis is supposed to be down there somewhere.
Is that a planet?
I mean, it could be.
Is it a planet or a continent, or is it a city underwater?
A city.
Yeah, a city. I think it was supposed to be a city.
Yeah.
But Mark, you just had a premonition. You had you tapped into your inner seer, and there's a planet in there because you said so. So it's
Might be the inner seer. Could be a whole moon down there that we're not aware of.
I'm gonna need you to increase the difficulty.
No.
What did you do with the beginner status?
I ain't trying to die that fast. I ain't played this before. Look at all the rats down there.
Your boat just crashed. That's not a good beginning.
What is Bull City?
Supposedly, this is one of the darker games that's out there.
Right on.
No,
dark in what way? Gore or in like the graphics are amazing. That looks great.
I mean, throughout, it's supposed to be everything is death.
Is this on Unreal or what is this on?
I think it is on the Unreal Engine.
But you tell me what's the game again? Because she actually asked you what Bull City was too, which is the name of your.
Oh, Bull City is the Twitch name and all the other business stuff.
Okay.
But
shout out to all the viewers on Bull City. Hey y'all. Damn, that looks good. That has to be Unreal. Let me go check. Like, I want to know now.
Because you told me Unreal's by that company that's based here in the Triangle, right?
Yep.
What was that company again? You told me.
Oh no, it's not on Unreal.
What is it?
Evidently, they made a proprietary engine.
Well, they need to release that and throw it in VR.
But Unreal is Epic, right?
Yep.
That's what I thought. And Epic is Carrie, right?
Yep.
If you land your airplane in Marsville, you'll be right there next to the Unreal people.
This looks amazing. This reminds me of how I felt the first time I played Black Desert.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, this game is all about stealth.
Oh, this is open world, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I like the plant life. There was some very purplish plants over there.
Now imagine if you were in VR. Like that would be so much better. My God.
Wow.
Like you could actually be touching those plants.
And yeah. You'd be fully immersed in that space.
Wow.
Did you just acquire a son?
Well, this is. I gotta hide. Oh no! Oh, I can't hide over there.
Did you start off with two characters, right? You and the son?
Well, it's me and my brother.
Oh
no! They found me.
Are those other characters or those NPC characters?
Yep.
Do you ever play games with your two kids as a family, Jacoby? Maybe. Do you ever play these kind of games with your two kids, with them playing the other characters?
No, not like this. This is all death and killing.
I try to do that to your kids. I don't blame you.
Where'd they go? Where'd he go?
They had it.
Oh, there he is. Had to hide.
By the way, Kara and Nicole, I'm convinced that Jacoby has found the secret of time and has invented a new clock that has 26 hours in the day because he doesn't really believe in sleep and all of that. And then he goes off and does like car stuff for his 2 kids. So I'm convinced that he's found a 26 to 28 hour clock or day. I really want him to give me that secret, just like I'm trying to get my dad to reveal to me the Fountain of Youth, because my dad has discovered the Fountain of Youth and he hasn't told me that either. But I'm convinced that Chovy's got the clock thing, and I'm convinced that Jim Lee has got the Fountain of Youth. So they both need to reveal these secrets to me at some point.
Supposedly in this game, the hordes of rats,
Wow.
you've got to be afraid of because they'll eat you.
Because they're rats, so.
You know, it's that who the rats in the first place.
So you were talking about fears earlier. There are a couple of games in VR that actually allow you to tap into what your fears are and experience them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done those yet. I'm not ready. But they're out there.
I mean, you're not playing Five Nights at Freddy's?
No, that's different. That's different. But Among Us is coming out in VR.
Oh, it is? Wow.
I tried to do I was going to do the beta test.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get a chance to do the beta test because the day that they were doing it, I was busy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the water.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice water scene. I can imagine that in the metaverse.
Stand behind the log.
Oh.
All right.
Fish. Never had a chance.
Not at all. The old-fashioned way of killing fish.
Have you played so do you have a VR headset?
Yep.
Yeah. Have you played Zenith?
I wanted to play Zenith, but I didn't.
Yeah. I didn't want to play Zenith and I did.
How was it?
I love it. 1, because the system made it, but 2, because it is it's sort of the first VR MMORPG sort of, and it's cool because you get to kill things and have them actually like kill you, but you feel it, and so that's fun.
Okay.
But it's a very young feeling game, like super young feeling. And so for that reason, I'm out.
Okay.
I was out.
How was it compared to Township Tale though?
Township.
So that's all Township Tale is very young.
I need to remember Township Tale. Because I know I have Township, but I don't know that I have Township Tale.
Nicole, come back to what you just said, because I was sitting there thinking about that. So you mean to tell me that it is that intense and reactive that if you or Kara were to slap me, I would feel the pain of the slap? I'm already not liking this game.
No. We're not there yet. It's coming. That's haptic feedback, kind of, and being able to feel and sense in the metaverse. That doesn't exist. But what they do,
They've got the haptic vest.
Well, they do have the suit. So, what's funny is I want to watch Lawnmower Man with my group on Fridays. And so Lawnmower Man, like if you go and watch the trailer for that, They actually had haptic suits and
Really?
VR tables where you're laying down. They had the VR, the trackpad that we're using. They have those back then, and so that was like early 90s, late 80s when that came out. And so it's really, like I said, it's cool to see like all these things actually coming into reality when they were just figments of our imagination back then. But yeah, so Mark, when I say you feel it, like if you think about like tab target games, like they target you and then they shoot, and so then you shoot back.
Yeah.
And you see it happen visually in most games, but in this game, like if they shoot you, you feel it, because they make your hands shake in the way that they would if you had been shot, if that makes sense. So they kind of create this feeling that it is, but it's not actually feeling it per se, like in the exact same space or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is there a cap on the amount of participants you can have on your movie night? Since I've already signed up and I was going to see if Jatovi and maybe even Kara want to join the movie nights that take place on Friday nights. Nicole has a movie night, by the way, Kara.
Nice.
Nope. There is not a cap. There's nothing like that. What did we watch on Friday?
You said something about Perfect Gentleman, according to what you were telling
No,
Dr. Kelly.
That's what you call it said. No, he was watching one we had watched a long time ago, and he just didn't realize that he was not reading the current chat. On Friday we watched something. It was really good too. I think it was a movie that we watched Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler and Regina Hall.
Cool.
But that was really good for various reasons.
What's on tap for this Friday?
I don't know. It's Tuesday.
You haven't picked the movie yet.
No, have not. I want to arrange it with Warrington Hudlin. I want to get a minute to go and like have movie night in his metaverse movie theater, because he has WeWatchTogether.us, and that is a really cool space to just go and watch movies. And so I want to do that, but like Friday nights he always has something going on, so not able to do it then.
Have you done his movie yet? Have you shown House Party?
So House Party, no. We have not. We did Bebe's Kids though, and that's one of his too. So we
Bebe's
did
Kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that, that's his, and we did that before I ever met him, which was great. To actually meet him. That was wonderful. But House Party, the new one, was supposed to come out this summer, but it did not come out for the anniversary. So hopefully we'll get to see that release at some point.
Who's playing the Kid and Play role? Because I know Play lives here in Durham, but I don't know who's playing the role.
No idea. Actually, I do know. It's Tristan Thomas, I want to say. For the new one, there's a lot of the younger actors in there.
Cool.
This isn't good. I might die here.
But you're kind of trying to hide it. I don't know how much good hiding you're doing with the leaves when the plants are moving. So I think they might.
They just killed the guy in front of me and my little brother.
Like I said, they might find you because the leaves are steady moving. You're not doing a good job of hiding.
I go from bushes to bushes.
Well, at least now you're out of the moving bushes, so maybe you can escape before you kind of moving and revealing yourself.
Where is the escape?
That is, well, wouldn't you be near the house or the barn or whatever that is off in the distance?
See? All about stealth.
Maybe I'm wrong. I would rather just be invisible.
Oh, Lord, here they.
They're trying to find you.
I gotta get.
If you had a special power, is that what it would be, Nicole? It'd be invisibility? Or would you just
Telepathy.
Telepathy? That would be good. What about you, Kara? What would your superpower be if you could have one that you don't have? Because we know you have many anyway.
Yeah, I was about to say, name what I don't have. Just kidding. I don't know. My eyesight's pretty crappy. Maybe not X-ray vision, but like 20/20 vision. I feel like that would be a superpower for me. To see 20/20 without glasses or LASIK. Oh yeah. I'd feel like a whole new person.
Sleeping of new people, I'm gonna be a different person if I don't go to sleep here. So
go get some sleep. You got
Go
work to do.
sleep.
I'm gonna head out.
You got work to do tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Bye. Thank you. Let me get it.
Yes.
Don't be a stranger. Hopefully, we'll see you back in here. I know that sometimes we're on Mondays, and that's not good a good day for you. But when we have Tuesdays and Mondays, and you can pop back, hopefully you will.
Yeah, I will try to pump through as much as I can. You guys take care and have fun.
You too.
Definitely.
Levitation could be fun.
Okay, so we are way past our time.
Yep.
Yeah, we were like on second show. I was actually thinking that myself. I was like, I'm gonna have to cut this show if we're gonna do reruns at some point, but I don't mind doing that, Jadobi. But yeah,
So cut it, and we can still be on for a little bit because I want to chat, but
you don't want to do it on camera.
It is going on almost 3.5 hours. So goodbye, everyone.
I think what Kara's trying to say is that can we end the show now, and then we will maybe have some off-camera discussions about things that need to be discussed about the show and life in general.
Or maybe boundaries, because we're an hour and a half overdue. Goodbye, everyone.
That too.